What's the one? This is the borderline millennial zoomer in me. What's the Maroon 5 song? Sunday morning. It's Monday. It's not even morning either. So, anyways, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. It is the Biendeo stream today on this fine, spooky Monday, the 13th of October 2025. I hope you're having a wonderful week. We'll have a wonderful week ahead of you. Sup, Fetty? How you doing? It's been a fun week in terms of drama and all the jazz. Everyone likes it. But also, there's been, like, stuff. I don't know. There's stuff happening. Stuff's always going on. I got a lot of stuff to go on for Harvester, because we've got to do Disc 2 and 3 in one stream. We don't have to do it in one stream, but I'd like to get it done in one stream. So let's go! Including in one... that is true, yes. Yes. I'm gonna go hands off on talking about whatever the RetroAchievements controversy is. But I will talk about the spirit behind why it started. I think is probably the broad topic. The individual acts of who said things to whom and what people did, I will let continue develop because I don't believe it's over. And also, drama is never, I don't know, it's kind of gossipy if we talk about, like, who said what and implying whose motives. So for reference, just, we're going to mostly talk about Harvester still, because you know how this game interrupts everything with dialogue. But on the last stream, that was the entire first disc, which means, also, I made a save, which is called Who Saved Before the School this time, because you remember, I tried doing the blackmail photo, and it didn't work at all. But hilariously, after loading my new save, it's right then and there. So I can technically show everything right from the beginning of this, but I do need to switch discs the moment you load the save. But let's go into that. So, let's play this as we normally should. It is Friday. Nothing really has changed otherwise. If you remember, right at the end of Thursday, we stole the barber pole, which is in our inventory the entire time. Second disc, baby.
Leave me alone, will ya?
I'm so glad they got to show in 2 minutes of the video.
Good. Fine on.
Well, he doesn't have anything to say, so how about you? How you
Hello,
doing?
dear. How are you today? Did you hear what happened at the barber shop? Someone broke into Pastorelli's salon and took his antique barber's pole. The next morning, Pastorelli touched some live wires that the thief left lying around and was electrocuted. Well, that darn foreigner got what he deserved, if you ask me.
Darn foreigners.
Coming into a nice little town like Harvest and stealing business. Heavens, if a bowl and scissors were good enough for your father, I don't see why decent working folk need a fancy wop styling their hair. Wow. That's how it goes. First you get a sissy trim, then bang, you're a communist. Isn't it exciting, Steve?
Wow.
5 days and 1,200
wow,
cookies
that
later,
line
the bake
is
sale is
amazing.
already here. Where does the time fly?
Those 1,200 cookies.
1,200 is
How many are you
number.
taking to the sale?
Oh, about 20. The rest were stale. But the effort wasn't wasted. It's for
Also,
a good
you
cause.
cook 12 at a time. What do you mean
tonight?
20 were fine? Wouldn't
That's
miss it.
nice, dear. It's good to be open to new experiences.
Yes.
Don't you think it's odd having a bake sale to pay for burying out-of-towners?
Gosh, hooties, what should we do? Leave them in the streets?
Of course
She's got
we
a
should
point.
bury them. But why do so many out-of-towners drop dead in Harvest?
I have wondered about that, and I think it has something to do with the air.
But there's nothing
Ooh.
wrong with the air.
Ooh.
It's perfectly clean.
That's what I mean. Big city folk, they get so used to smog that clean air is a shock to their systems. Gets them every time.
She's got a point.
Don't forget to put the papers out for Jimmy.
And we
You
gotta
know how
remember
he
Jimmy.
gets.
We gotta remember Jimmy, so. Yeah, our string of harmless pranks might be a bit serious this time. Of course, as well, Jimmy is actually going to shoot us on
Hey,
sight
Steve,
if we aren't
we've
doing
been
this. But he's saying the same thing every day, so. Just as a note as well, yeah, the father's room is still chilling there. In theory, I think you can still head in. Yep.
What? Oh, it's you, son. I told you not to come in here. It's too risky.
He really doesn't have that much to say, though. He's just there, so. Anyways, let's show off the things that I didn't show off last week on stream, and I actually kind of wanted to show off. So, first of all, Pastor. Oh yeah. Let's actually like showcase exactly this. You hear that? You go, what? So you go in. Okay, we broke the glass. Wow. Like, wow. Just there's a void. Absolute void.
Think about taking some of that side. I was the one what found Pastorelli this morning after he stepped in the water with the live wires hanging out. His body was so burnt his arms and legs was blackened, fused together, and the sheep was well done too.
Oh no.
Problem is, both was burnt so bad, and the flesh all crisp and distorted, limbs melded. You couldn't tell them apart. And well, I didn't want to take a chance on eating Italian. No, sir, I didn't. I tell you.
Also, a bunch of these guys are going to have lines about all the other things that we've done.
Full of sissies.
This is a vor-free stream. No
They're
vor.
all accusing each other of stealing some silk underwear or something. Boy, whoever said fighting fire with fire be happy in harvest. Cause we got a fire station full of
That's a
famers.
slur.
Nice to see you again, Steve.
How you doing?
Now, son. I'm busy.
He
with
can't
this
talk
gang.
though.
Dang it if the whole town ain't going to hell. Poor old Johnson.
Yeah, it's got a line about the car.
It's a sure sign that civilization is coming to an end. I guess you heard that dang idiot Pastorelli went out and got
Yeah, I
himself
heard.
electrocuted. Somebody stole
Sup,
the
Tom?
burger.
How's it going? I'm
The
pretty
alarm
sure
system
flame
triggered
is a
sprinkler.
slur. I'm
There
pretty
was
sure.
water on the floor this morning, and the
It's not a
third
very strong
truck
one,
left
but I think it
exposed
is.
Wires out. The Pastorelli came in, flipped the switch, and then zap! Yeah, maybe them aliens is hot for colored glass after all.
Maybe. True.
Anytime, Steve.
Anyways, those two are probably going to be the most directly affected, but in theory, you know, lots of other characters might mention it. Maybe.
Sorry, son. No time to talk. Well, son, the day of the long-awaited bake sale has finally arrived. Yes, sir. It's gonna be a hot time in the whole town tonight.
Joining into the stream.
Next time you
Nice.
post,
You're going to
don't
see a
forget
lot of
the
wild
zip
stuff
code.
this stream. I should have also mentioned, yes, if you didn't watch the last stream, this game is the serious stuff, so be prepared. It's the goofy serious stuff, but it's still like it's got the graphics and the gore. It's got all that kind of goodness. So anyway, let's show off the things that like I actually hadn't particularly done. So first of all, we went here and I sort of commented on this wall safe, and I should have really, you know, watch out for
This
that.
is your second arrest. You just remember, one more strike and you're out.
Not forgot, but I didn't know how to show off. So I think this is actually a good opportunity because I didn't actually know how to break out of here. And I was kind of close, but it's worth showing off. So first of all, you got to break this pipe off. You've got to then use the pipe on this sink, which smashes it up. You pick up the sink. You have to use the pipe on the cot, not the bed, the cot. And you got to break that one as well. Also picking that up. This cup, got to pick it up. Lots of things you got to pick up. Use the cot with the sink, and you make this sink cot contraption. You got to put it like here on the jail gate, and then finally the tin cup goes on the gate, and then the whole thing plays for itself. But it's got some cutscenes and things that, you know, you don't see if you don't. If you just click on the exit, you won't see this. And then whoosh, all the FMVs, and suddenly just like CG just right there.
Well, that didn't work.
Then you use the keys on the gate, and you just walk out. And then the game usually does not know quite what you're doing. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. But yeah, no, I hadn't shown that off, so I just wanted to show that. I am going to intentionally save with the 2 out of 3 on the going to jail. That's fine. But anyway, I wanted to show off what's going on with this wall safe. So I know we generally have a, like, no one... actually, we'll treat this as a hypothetical. I won't save after this, but this is something to show. So first of all, you have to kill this guy. You know, just that happens. Inside his desk, after he dies, is this safe manual, which has the code. Yeah, we've saved, don't worry. You can use this on the safe right here, and inside is the deed of the TV station. This deed plays out very similarly to the what was it, the checkbook. So pretty much, you have to hold that. We go all the way back to the general store and we copy it because oh, that's the post office. You have to copy it because you know what happens when you show the non-copied thing, and he's like, why would you blackmail me with the original? So photocopy that, and then we go back to Edna's diner because he's probably at the diner. Nope, he's not at the diner. Where could he be? Probably at the police station then. Who knows where he is? Okay. Well, anyway, you can give him a line of dialogue for blackmailing him with the copy of the TV deed. Doesn't really add too much. He'll offer the get out of jail free, just like the previous, just like the checkbook. I did bonk him on the sink, but he would usually be here. He doesn't disappear from the game. It's just kind of like a goofy thing to get out. I don't know where he is right now. I'm curious. Oh well. And then, let's load the save, because I do... Oh, whoa, don't hit save game and then click it. That's always a recipe for disaster. The last thing that we'll keep him alive, just because... Also, he has a line of dialogue with this next thing, and so let's show it off instead. So, obviously, we go to the Moro school. I tried doing this, and it didn't like working. The broom closet key gets to be used on the broom closet, where you then see this happen. And then we take the photo with the camera. I don't know why this wasn't working for so long last week. And then, yeah, you can say you're busted.
Huh? What? Screwing in the school broom closet? What will people think?
Are you blackmailing us, you little shit?
Calm down, Mr. Harold. Stephen would never do that. He's a smiley bear. But we should give him a token of our appreciation for his silence. Here, Stephen, take this baseball bat. You'll find it quite useful.
And then you can turn it down.
More than that you won't get. We don't have much money. We're educators, not janitors. Now, will you take the bat?
They sure are cleaning up, if you know what I mean.
Then you damn well better keep your mouth shut about this. Please?
He'll keep his mouth shut if he knows what's good for him.
But yeah, no, then you keep this photo of them, which is always a fun, curious photo. Also, that seemed to reload them. But so many characters, actually, nearly every character has a line of dialogue about this photo, just out of nowhere.
You smug, filthy little bastard. Put that away now.
That is true. So many characters, if you show this photo, you'll get a real, like...
Put that thing away, damn you.
You'll get some stuff. Obviously, these two are going to mention it. But then it's just like... Hold on. Like, you wouldn't expect almost everyone. Like, here, this guy, he's all like...
Say, is that Miss Whaley?
And Mr. Harold. In the school broom closet.
Man, oh man, wait till the guys at the diner hear about this.
He's got a line. The colonel has a line.
Son, whoever sold you those stag photos took you good. Did you get a look at that dame? Old enough to be your mother, for Christ's sakes. You need some shore leave, sailor. And fast.
It doesn't say too much, but... Here we go.
Boy, I know them. Can't believe my eyes. Hey, Clem, get a load of this.
Gotta keep showing that photo.
Look it, the teacher and the principal making like hogs.
Very nice. At the post office. I don't think this guy actually has anything to say about it.
Pornography.
Oh, no, he does.
Young man, you're lucky you're delivering that by hand and not through the mails, or I'd have you arrested. Disgusting. But enlightening.
We go to the general store. Obviously, the dead guy didn't say anything, so don't worry.
My stars, that's scandalous. First the amnesia, now you've taken to peeping through windows, just like Loomis. He'd do anything to catch an untoward glimpse of a beautiful girl.
I hardly think Miss Whaley qualifies.
Oof.
Is that who it is? And Mr. Harold? My stars! I can't wait to tell the ladies' auxiliary about this.
I like how nearly every character is intrigued by this. So I'm going to go to my house last. Let's go to the TV station.
Say, you're a game little buckaroo, aren't you? The FCC would tan my hide if I put that on the air, but thanks for showing me anyhow.
The FCC won't allow this. But they don't
Also,
mind
the FCC
Indians being
existing in this
eviscerated.
universe.
Violence isn't dirty like sex, cowpoke. Folks would stand for a shootout in the street, but poking in the street? Well, if you can't see the difference, I can't help you. But thanks for the news. Hold on just a sec. We're back with a news flash, buckaroos. Steve has found out that Mr. Harrell and Miss Whaley have been playing pee-pee in the broom closet at Geen Memorial. Stay tuned for further developments as soon as Steve can get some more dirty pictures.
Oh, just throw me under the bus there. Okay. This guy as well, he's amazingly got an extra line.
All right, sport. I warned you.
Or he doesn't. Well, he does have an extra line, but I guess technically he thinks I'm touching the safe, so I don't know. I'm just gonna walk away like nothing happened there. We can go to the diner. Or you can,
Yeah.
How dare you show those disgusting pictures to my baby? Do
You
that
know.
again and I'll tell the sheriff.
He will arrest you if you do it again. Or they will arrest you.
Steve, I didn't have you figured
So,
for
I'm
a
not
room
trying that
longer.
again.
That's disgraceful. Put that thing away.
We are indeed showing every single person and their mother this thing. I don't think anyone at the fire station acknowledges this. Also because the fire station's closed. And yeah, we don't get anything out of it. Newspaper building's empty. Mortuary. This guy's chilling here.
How thoroughly repulsive. As I said, the affairs of the living are of little interest to me, although I'm sure others will find this quite engaging.
Very, very nice. To the Johnson residence. I'm afraid of what he's going to say.
Now, don't that beat all get out. Harold and the original old maid herself. Though I guess the old maid part is history now, huh?
They're doing this every day after class in the broom closet.
Oh, well, I hope you don't expect me to keep my trap shut about this one. I'm gonna give some of these neighborhood brats an advanced education. Maybe if they take up a healthy interest in intercourse, they'll leave my Tucker alone.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I forgot if I've killed her permanently. I think we opted for no. Yeah, no, we're good. We're good.
Do you see the waste?
Yes, somehow she's got a line.
Effort, grunting and fumbling, all for one offspring. We could learn so much from the wasp. We could make the earth crawl.
But don't you see who that is?
What do I care for their identities? Identity is a fallacy. The hive is all that matters. All the rest is prey.
It's a very odd response to this, but yeah, sure, okay. To the Potsdam residence we go. Here's a photo.
Holy Marconi! That's Miss Whaley and Principal Harold, isn't it?
Yeah, I took this picture in the broom closet at Geen Memorial. Nice, huh?
Disgusting is more like it. Why are you showing this to me?
For the hell of it.
You've got a nutty sense of fun, Steve. Maybe an expensive one, too. This kind of stuff can come back to haunt you.
He says that, but nothing actually happens otherwise.
Oh my goodness! That's Miss Whaley, isn't it?
Wrapped around Principal Harrell. As a member of the PTA, I thought you'd be interested.
Interested? I'm absolutely Twitter-pated. And the rest of the
Twitter-pated
ladies
is an
will be too,
amazing word,
once I
though.
tell them.
And let's go back upstairs. I don't believe Stephanie's got anything to say.
Are you making some kind of point?
No, she doesn't. She will say something
Steve,
about the general
I'm so glad
affairs,
you came
though.
back. What have you been doing?
I visited the lodge. Talked to the sergeant-at-arms there. He knows that there's something out of whack here. He told me if I wanted to find out what it is, I should join the lodge. I've decided to join the lodge, Stephanie. I think the
Bit of a
answer to all our
non-sequitur statement
questions is
there.
inside.
That place. It's so sinister.
Maybe.
You may be playing right into their hands. Did you think of that? Doesn't it seem like you're being herded toward the lodge?
That's one of the things I hope to find out.
I hope finding out doesn't get you killed. I understand that bake sale is today.
Yeah, you'd think it was the second coming the way everyone is acting around here.
It's insane. The maniacal attention paid to this bake sale. Like all the women in Harvest came from the same cookie cutter. It's unnatural.
That's a bit of a mixed metaphor, isn't it, though?
Almost a parody of how things should be.
Wow, they're spelling it out right there.
I see my mother throwing out whole batches of cookies, like an automaton getting rid of its surplus product.
My so-called mother has been baking cookies all week, and then throwing them out. Better that than getting rid of us.
Wait around long enough. I have a feeling they'll get to it. My faux mother keeps me up on the latest gossip. Not like she really wants to talk to me. More like she's feeding me information. For instance, she told me that Mr. Johnson's Tucker was vandalized. That's another weird thing. Every car I've seen drive by is a Tucker. There were only 31 produced. What are the odds of that?
I've always wanted a Tucker. Funny that Harvest would be full of them.
Any idea who scratched the car?
A weird coincidence, isn't it? Yeah, no idea.
Johnson was really upset about it from what I hear. You know the firemen? Someone stole some fabric from them, and they're up in arms about it.
Oh, yeah, why would anyone steal it?
Why would firemen spend their time decorating? Only in Harvest.
She's got a point there.
I don't know if you heard or not, but Mr. Pastorelli, the barber, he's dead.
Oh, no.
Looks like somebody stole a barber's pole from him, then left the exposed electrical wires and some water on the floor. Pastorelli walked in, flipped on the lights, and... Know anything about that?
Nope. Nope.
Mr. Swell came by. I heard him telling my father about it. He said it smelled like roast pork.
Well,
how swell.
These things happen.
Especially around here. My mommy says that someone assaulted the sheriff and broke out of jail. The sheriff got bonked on the head and can't remember who it was. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, very funny.
Is it true? You found Karen?
Oh my gosh, we're getting a recap of
Just in
everything
time,
that's
too.
happened.
He'd molested her and buried her alive.
Oh my
He couldn't bring
gosh.
himself to kill her outright, so he just decided to stick her in the ground and let fate take its course.
Who? Who would do that to a helpless child?
She says it was Mr. Potsdam, and I believe her.
You couldn't do anything about the lies,
And all
don't
this
worry.
time I've been under the
Or do
same roof
worry.
with that thing watching me.
Take it easy, okay?
So, at least they'll be coming to take him away, won't they? Come back and
nope.
visit me soon, okay?
Anyway, that was a long exposition dump of all the things that we've done already. But that's pretty fair. To our house. And the reason why I've stopped here last is because, one, we can show the mum this.
My goodness, what's this?
I caught them together in the broom closet. Seems they go in there every day after school.
Sakes, I hope you're not going to ask me what they're up to. There's certain things that a boy and a girl do together when they're in
quality
love.
time.
Horrible, disgusting, slimy things that they want to share with each other. Which Mr. Harrell and Miss Whaley have been swapping on a regular basis. Oh, wait till the PTA hears about this.
Wow. Anyway, let's also, just before I do that, I want to see if the dad says anything. Don't suppose he will, but...
Oh my god. Did you take that picture? Son, you never burst in on a couple like that. You could get killed.
Somehow I can't picture Harold in a jealous rage.
Oh.
Jealous rage, hell. I'm talking stray fire here. Believe me, I know.
Oh, you know, this is just what your dad is allegedly into. Yeah. The reason why I'm showing the brother this very last.
Hey, they're doing it. Wow. You gotta trade me it. I'll give you my Robbie the Robot model for it.
You can get this item.
Boy, you sure got ripped.
And ripped is right because I mean, here's the robot and it does nothing.
Big what, Steve?
It literally does nothing. But we've shown the picture to everyone. That's the only use for it.
Stop wasting my time, young man.
Is to trade for this and get a lot of humorous lines of dialogue. So, anyways, all of that is a lot of exposition and walk around. But I hope that's a good catch up as to what's happened, as well as also really all the things that we've got going on here. So, yeah. The fewer questions, the better, I guess.
Imported Venetian glass.
This guy, for reference, wouldn't say anything, so don't worry. I didn't show it to him for a reason.
Unfortunate side effect that Pastorelli was electrocuted because you left live wires in a puddle on the floor.
Well, actually, they weren't live until he flipped the switch, so... I couldn't find him. Couldn't find where the cop was. Man was electrocuted.
Pastorelli's own incompetence caused his unfortunate accident. What does it matter that you left live electrical wires hanging in the water on the floor?
No, they were live when he put the switch on it.
System to the sprinklers. He'd be alive.
And that's a him thing.
Of course, you only wanted the bowl.
Two wrongs don't make me the wrong, you know what I mean?
Assignment is to set a fire in DNA's diner. And
oh yes, that's what it's called.
Where they may.
That's not no minor prank.
So close, and yet so far. What a pity. Tonight.
He doesn't care if you object. You can't object.
Soon, the annual harvest blood drive will be at hand. When sacrifice will be the order of the day.
It's a little dark, yeah. It is a spooky Halloween game. Okay. So anyway, so that's our plan, our goal for the day is we're gonna need to set fire to the bakery, to the diner. Now, the only thing that we're really missing is we need to get this glue.
You can't have that, Stephen.
Which he really doesn't want me to have.
And may I say you're a rude young man for attempting to steal it.
I was only going to borrow it.
Indeed.
And it is going to say this line about security. We had this last week. Now, there are two ways of doing this. One is the easy way, which is moida. Oh. Now, he comes at you a bit. He has a bit of a crack. But you'll get him. Oh, you'll get him eventually. Come on. Come on. Oh my gosh, you want to... There you go. Unless I die first at this point. Yeah, there's also combat. He has a death animation. I just wanted to mention that one. That's the only reason why I was explicitly killing him here. But we're going to keep him alive because we want to do it the puzzly way. I just thought it's funny that he's got one where he falls on his knife. You know. But anyway, we come into here, and unlike last time, there's a young man lies motionless in the casket. Red stains are visible on his shirt and boots. Dun dun dun! That's like the weakest freaking job here. Anyways, this camera gets two purposes because you can take a picture of it. You know, for later. And it's less for later and more for literally right now.
Young man, it seems that Like some elephant's
probably got some lines of
graveyard,
dialogue
people of
about
low
what's been
station
happening
come
here,
to
though.
harvest to die. They simply drop dead, penniless, and they all need burial.
This game was released in
Like
'96.
that corpse in the chapel, all dressed up and nowhere to go. No mourners, no point. But I still must provide them with prompt burials by town charter, and absorb the losses myself.
Absorb
God
is
knows,
a
by
key
putting these
word
people
here.
up at the Wayward Hotel, I do more than my fair share. So why must I pay for the coffins and burial materials as well? My losses to the dead are substantial.
Oh yeah, like the
Hopefully the bake
digitized
sale will offset some of it.
presentation's
I do
pretty
hope you'll
clear,
attend the bake sale
and there's a
spend
lot of
heavily.
like I'm pretty
It's
sure there's a
for the
line
needy,
of
you
like
know.
somewhere where there's
Sure.
like
And all
thousands
they
of
have to
frames
do
of
to benefit
Steve
is
for
die.
all the
That
things he
ditch
does.
makes a poor resting place. You'll need to learn
Because he
that.
has to hold every
you ever
weapon
want
in
to
the game.
leave
There's not too
harvest.
many of them,
Make
but
it
it's
sound
just,
like I have a
it's
choice.
just kind of interesting
That
that
choice
he's got that.
that is rapidly vanishing. Join the lodge, Stephen, while you may.
I assume FMVs don't count. You can prod him about the corpse.
The corpse reclining in the chapel right now is a prime example of the difficulties I face. For unfathomable reasons, this bum decided to wander into harvest and summarily drop dead.
Just like that.
Yeah, he dropped
Indeed.
dead, you know.
He
We
died of
checked.
purely
He didn't
natural
have a kidney.
causes. Of that I have
Or
no
the other
doubt.
kidney.
But why come to harvest to die? You say this happens often.
It's a natural
Isn't that
cause of death, having no
a little
kidneys.
too much of a coincidence?
I've often puzzled over the situation myself. Though I can assure you, young man, that nothing untoward is happening in harvest. On the contrary, it's an indication of our compassion that I put up
It's a
hobos in the
failure of
Wayward
our
Hotel.
the health
And the order
system
of
in
the
this
Harvest
country.
Moon mandates their prompt burial, even when they are without family or means, and when it entails losses on my part.
Okay.
I'd say it's been a pleasure.
Anyways, this photo is the obvious blackmail that you can use on him.
Ah, you've taken up photography, I see. Now why on earth would you choose such a grotesque subject?
That John Doe you've got boxed up in the chapel? He didn't just drop dead. Someone helped him take the plunge.
You may be right. I'm a mortician, not a medical examiner.
You don't have to be to know that being ripped to shreds can be detrimental to your health.
This is
usually.
not something you want to be looking into, young man.
Let's give him the threat line.
Got the goods, have you? You're in harvest, my young friend. Have you tried the road out of town yet? Do so, and you may question exactly who has who.
Look, are you gonna tell me what I want to know, or do I go to the sheriff with these pictures?
That would be a grave mistake, I assure you. I've told you all I can. My
There's
losses
like
have
nothing
been
happening
substantial
on
of late,
screen,
so I
but the
can't offer you
sounds are
money.
going.
The only thing I can give you in exchange for the photographs is my tube of astro glue. I do suggest you take it, for it's all you'll get from me.
Alright.
A wise decision. When a wasp's nest is stirred up, it is seldom the wasps who grieve later.
There we go. So now we got the glue. And the glue was the important part of why we're still here on this day. A wasp, you see? Yes. Nightfall descends upon harvest. You know, the same night animation. Even on disc 2, it's the same thing. In fact, actually, you'd be amazed how much content is copied across both discs. The reason why we're going through both discs 2 and 3 today is because disc 2 is remarkably short. There's not a lot in disc 2. So we'll probably be done with it kind of soonish. Anyways, I wanted to show, if it's ever nighttime and you have access to your dad's room, if you ever go in, you just see this. And then, dead. It's, do not interrupt this room on nighttime. You gotta watch out. So, I wanted to show that one off. That one's a slightly reused animation, but it's also just like, oh my gosh, guys. Okay. Anyway, secretly at this time is the bake sale, which is on at the school. Friday. Here we go. So we head in through this door in the back. And,
Buy some cookies? It's for a good cause.
you just go, you all look alike.
Mercy, what a terrible thing to say. Isn't it, ladies?
Yes, terrible.
Hello, Steve. So nice to see you.
They just interchangeably keep swapping all the characters here.
Derelicts and bums who wander into town who don't have enough money for a decent burial.
They deserve to be buried. It's the Christian thing to do.
That's awful nice of you. But why do so many derelicts and bums die in Harvest?
Don't be such a wise apple, Steve.
Buy some cookies?
There's something so weird about
Why,
this.
I never. Isn't that right, ladies?
Yes. Never.
Perhaps there's something about the interchangeability you always were a kid. We haven't had that today, and we probably won't get it today. We sort of abused it all yesterday. Anyways, if you try to leave, the doors are locked from the outside. I don't know why you can't leave in that direction, but you can leave, like, down here.
Ladies, someone has just burned down the TV station.
Oh no, what? Okay. What a weird line of dialogue. And, yeah, if we, try to go to the TV station. It's a bit hot. It's a bit hot, I guess. Curiously as well, I believe you can actually try and walk towards this. He hasn't given... True. You can walk towards this and... actually, you can't walk towards it. That's okay. We'll see it very, very soon. Yeah, he hasn't given up his old advice. Anyways, our goal is to set fire to a different building, so we're gonna do that here. The diner's locked up. You know what the drill is. We go into our inventory. We use the tape wherever it is. We had a whole roll of it. We're gonna use the whole roll. Dang it! Smash it up, and then here's your secret. So we're gonna save in here. Actually, I'm gonna save here just in case, because you never know how many times I save, and it's like, oh no, you should be using different save slots. We've got the grease fryer back here, and you can obviously turn that on. I think there's an object around here, maybe, because we don't have anything that exactly can like set the fire. Actually, do we? Hold on, wait. Oh, we got a matchbook from somewhere. Yeah, if you use the matchbook on the grease fryer, you gotta make sure that there's no fire alarms functional, and then you'll go to jail otherwise. And we get to die, because unfortunately that's strike 3, so just for note there. So let's turn on the grease fryer. The trick that you have to do is you have to get the glue wherever it's gone in the inventory. Here it is. And we use the glue with well,
that didn't work.
Flowers. The third time you go to jail, it's the death penalty. Just like in real life, apparently. I don't know why I'm struggling to see this, unless it's in my inventory already. No, it's not in my inventory. Hold on, am I just standing? I am standing right in the way. There's a cake cover.
Oh, well, that didn't work.
Put the cake cover in your inventory. We get the cake cover and the glue.
Well, that didn't
Oh no,
work.
we get the glue and the cake cover, and it applies glue to it, and you slap that on the fire alarm. Now we can set fire to... Oh, now we can set fire to the grease fryer. Oh.
Yeah.
Now if you wait here long enough, like really long enough, the fire rises. This is some very realistic fire. This is how it spreads in like The Sims. See? Yeah, it's that. Yeah, you die. So you gotta make sure that you do indeed leave, which is really no sweat. So, okay, so, again, cake tin, glue, cake tin, pop it on the ceiling, start the thing, light the match, and now we can leave. That's pretty much it. With Edna's diner ablaze, your task is complete. You carefully make your way home to avoid any possible witnesses. And again, it's the same end of day transition. It's the same one every time. So, there's nothing too much. Welcome to Saturday. It's almost the end of the week. It is the weekend.
What is it now?
Hank,
What?
why are you sitting in front of that blank TV?
Someone burnt down the TV channel. There's nothing on. Nothing on.
Honestly, Hank, you're acting like an
This
alcoholic.
is a
I
sad
told you all
statement
that
right
TV would
here.
hurt you.
Watching TV don't hurt me, Mom. But not watching TV hurts bad. If I find out who burnt down the TV station, I'll make him wish he was one of those damn Indians.
Oof, but also fair.
Good.
Also, the screen's flashing at him, and if you hit the right line of dialogue, it still shows the animation. It's not quite ruled out in the most
Hello,
ideal
dear.
way, but
How are
sure,
you
yeah.
today? The nerve of some people burning
Some
down the TV
people.
station to detract from our bake sale.
I doubt the perpetrator did it just to annoy the Harvest
Nah,
BPA.
they did. It was just for that.
Coincidence? I don't think so. Just 6 months ago, the newspaper building went up in smoke. Obviously, there's a firebug on the loose. Either that or a communist.
Ah.
Steve, I'm so scared.
What's communism got to do with it?
Just ask Colonel Monroe at the missile base. He'll tell you. Now that the bake sale's over, I just don't know how I'll fill my time. Oh, I feel so useless. My goodness.
Also, this happens.
What's wrong with her?
Oh, you know.
My goodness.
Oh, you know. Did you want to witness this today? Because you are.
Oh, it's not as bad as it looks.
You're seeing it whether you like it or not.
You just
Yeah, this is an
pop
eyes
walk
emoji
in.
moment right here.
See? As good as new.
Good as new.
That tarantula she ate must have had wasp eggs in it.
Don't you think we should get her to a
Wasps?
doctor?
What for? She's got her mother. How silly I was, feeling useless just because there are no more cookies to bake. I can still rear my brood. This is a sign, Steve. I have a purpose again.
She's got a purpose again.
Glad to see you're feeling better.
Mind, that fire still burns my britches. First the newspaper building, then
Yeah, it's kinda
DNA's
weird that,
diner, then WHAR.
That the TV station burns down right
And
as
any
you're about to
pattern I
burn
can't make a
down
dress out of is no darn
Edna's
good.
Diner.
I suppose you heard about DNA's diner burning down. Sheriff Dwayne thinks it was a grease fire. On top of everything that's going on, some hooligan
They
broke
really
out of
don't
jail by
investigate
hitting
anything,
Sheriff
do they?
Dwayne in the head. And now Dwayne can't remember who the criminal was.
It must have been a pretty hard blow.
It looks like the hooligan got off scot-free. For now, at least.
For now.
We took a black eye on the bake sale, but I'm sure the Harvest PTA annual blood drive will be more successful. Overall, we made about $200, hardly enough to bury a dead horse, and definitely not enough to cover the annual blood drive.
200's a lot of money, though.
Annual blood drive, huh?
If you knew how much blood we get, you'd be more impressed. Donations are mandatory, Steve. If you're still here come Sunday, you'll
Yeah,
be
the baby's been
expected to
chilling there
give.
the whole time.
Until it hurts, I
219.50.
Until it
You could
hurts.
almost buy
Even Hank will have to donate. Of course, lodge members are
a home
exempt.
computer.
Remember
like
that.
Hey,
20 years
either
later.
way, no one's sticking me with a needle.
We don't use needles.
We don't use needles.
Don't forget to put the...
Anyways, we got this. So, Jimmy is gonna love me giving him the paper. So I gotta make sure I
Hey,
give
Steve.
it to him. Nothing much. No, nothing. No gore. Nothing really. We burnt down the diner.
DNA's diner is no more, as is Edna herself. She hung herself.
What?
As soon as she realized what had happened to her beloved establishment. A true entrepreneur and a credit to her
Credit to a nation. You've made me a murderer.
Her suicide was an unforeseen byproduct, predictable by no one. She killed herself. She made her choice. If you were a catalyst, join the rest of the world. We all live off the deaths of others.
Disclaimer. This is this character talking.
Torched it is. You have proven yourself a worthy candidate for initiation.
Initiation. I thought this was it.
This was only a trial to determine your worthiness for testing. Your initiation into the mysteries of the harvest will soon begin. In the meantime, be patient. Protocols must be observed.
Okay.
Initiation.
The protocols must be observed.
How I recognize the sign?
You will know when you receive the invitation. Bring it here, and your initiation shall begin.
Okay. So, you may be thinking, first of all, let's go to the TV station, and you just witnessed this freaking Fallout moment.
Say, can you spare a dime for a buckaroo who's down on his luck? The whole shebang just went up in flames, and I'm looking to mosey on to greener pastures, where the sunset's always golden, and there's always another savage to kill.
Amen, brother. That's a button, that's not a coin. We don't have any money, so I don't know if you can give anything to him. I'm not sure if having the deed to the place after this means anything. It's just something funny that's just kind of there. Also, here's Edna's Diner. I want to prepare you for this one. The moment you walk in... Oh, you know, there's a piece of paper here. You know.
I've tried so hard to find an excuse to keep on fighting. But Karen and I can't go out alone any longer. This diner he left us was all we had. It was always a struggle to keep it running in such a small town.
What a funny looking necklace she has.
I know that I can't afford to support us now. There's only one way out.
Oh no!
I'm sure you won't be able to understand the depth of despair that would enable a mother to put a rope around her baby's neck and push her into the air and jump after her. I wonder if I'll hear her next now. If she kicks around and takes a long time to strangle, I'll scream, but I won't cut her down. I've got to be stronger than I ever was before.
This is the edge right here.
God help us and forgive us, Edna Fitzpatrick.
And then, oh, you know, she's still there. Oh. So, this is a moment and a half. I have no idea what on earth is going through people's minds when they're writing this. Yeah. So for reference as well, Tom, there's a moment earlier in the game where the child gets kidnapped and she's buried alive. And if you don't find her on the day she's buried alive, then you have to find her the next day when she's clearly dead. And the game will progress on as normal. This cutscene is very different. Well, not very different. This cutscene is... The dialogue's different, and obviously there's only one person who dies by hanging, but... yeah, you're not allowed in there, for obvious reasons. But, yeah, this game is, in my eyes, and I would like to describe what on earth has happened in the past, like, 30 minutes. This game is one gaslight after another. It is constantly telling you, oh no, what a harmless prank. And then stuff keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And your harmless pranks do go much more intense. The first harmless prank being scratching this car sounds pretty, you know, whatever. Property damage, whatever. Stealing stuff. Okay. Oh no, someone died as a consequence of stealing stuff. Let's just set fire to the whole, you know what I mean. It's pushing the needle, turning the temperature up on the boiling the frog, and the frog doesn't notice. Anyways, the continuation of the plot happens at the... This just happens. This just happens. He's shouting, okay. He's not shouting at you necessarily.
Guess I can forget about the meat, huh?
What do you mean?
Your dad must have pulled some strings. Be sure and check Stephanie's pillow, you lucky bum.
What the hell are you talking about?
You'll see once the sheriff
Oh no.
Stephanie. Things'll never be the same now. Guess I'll be watching TV nights.
Okay.
Okay, you can come in now, son.
My God.
Oh.
Is that what I think it is?
Yep, it's a spinal cord.
Oh, no.
Stephanie?
I can see a resemblance, but I can't be sure.
More pie, Sheriff?
Pie? Don't you realize what's happened?
Oh, indeed I do. I can just hear the tongues wagging at the PTA. Was it suicide?
Never heard of anyone pulling their own spinal cord out before. Off the record, I'd have to say no. No, all in all, I'd say this was death by natural causes.
Natural causes?
You can't live without a spinal cord, son. Nothing unnatural about that.
That's what I'm talking about!
Think I will have some more pie.
Right away.
I can't believe this. This is horrible.
Believe me, you get to the point to where this is routine. Now the only clue we got is that card on our pillow. Take a look at it.
That hand
This is practically a confession.
Confession to what, son?
Murder. Isn't that what you're here to investigate?
Son, you don't investigate natural deaths. No point.
Then I'll get to the bottom of this myself.
Yeah. I'm sure you will.
More pie, Sheriff?
Hey.
Don't mind if I do.
This is probably the most incredible scene in the whole game. It's just line after line, amazing setups. I love it. This is the payoff. This is the moment where I went, nah, this game's amazing.
I don't suppose it'd hurt for you to take the card, seeing as it was.
Oh, I missed the sex scene. Ah, it's not an arrest. Don't worry.
Sorry,
I
had to read it
was
in
like,
the
oh
first
snap! I forgot the sex scene.
That's my job. Say, I wonder if there's
Listen,
more
I have
time.
a save from before. Don't worry. I think I have a save from before. Okay. Weirdly, you have to hold on. You have to leave the whole house, I think. There's a sex scene where you can have sex with Stephanie as well. The nudity is like chest high, so you don't see any of it. But Mr. Potsdam does.
What do you want?
And,
You know, with a slaughterhouse full of meat in town, what kind of nutcase would steal a barber's pole? Oh well, Pastorelli won't need it where he is. God rest his soul. Those silly willies down at the fire station
Those
are
silly
just
willies.
incensed about losing some decorating
I forgot what the
stuff.
prompt was to
Some
kick it in though, but it's
Yeah.
in there.
Maybe they should be more concerned with fire and less with flame.
Oh.
Harvest will never be the same without DNA's diner. Or without DNA, for that matter. Dead-eyed Dwayne's lost another one. Hear tell, someone busted out of jail, hit him on the head, and now he can't remember who. Isn't that rich?
Isn't that rich? Alright. Anyways, no, they're still on. Well, I'm gonna take the, lodge invitation, so, yoink. I mean, he asked me to take it, so here we are, the lodge invitation. Be it known that the Sacred Order of the Harvest Moon hereby extends notice of the eligibility of Steve Mason for initiation into the sacred mysteries of the harvest. Let him be presented with all possible haste to the Sergeant at Arms for commencement of the rites. Yeah, I didn't exit. Yeah, I'm sorry. You need that. There we go. So now we got the invitation. We can go to the lodge and we can get in. Here you go.
You received the invitation.
No, nothing happens when you exit and go back inside. I was like, no, she's.
I don't understand.
The invitation.
She's still a skull.
But the spinal cord.
Ah.
Sent it to me.
You didn't tie it to the spinal cord. How am I meant to know?
The mysteries.
How am I meant to know it's the spinal cord and not the note that says this is the invitation?
Not initiates. You were provided an invitation. Bring me the skull and spinal cord if you would pass to the world beyond.
Okay. So I think now, yeah, we try to go back to the house. So specifically after that, everything kind of looks normal, but you try to go back, and yeah, it's gone. It's gone. I was like, I knew you took the card. I knew you didn't take the spinal cord. You get arrested if you try taking it. So, so obviously, where is it? Most likely the cemetery. Somewhere. We know who was in there. But here we have a crypt. And some doors. Now, I believe as well, hold on, I'm just going to save here, because I know there's a... a little secret game over sequence. It's kind of secret. I'm pretty sure, I think you have to return to your house. At this point. Yeah, you go to your bed or something. I'm not too sure. I don't know how to trigger it. That's the one thing. But basically, the blood drive is tomorrow, and there's some way to trigger that,
Hello, dear. I just heard what happened to Stephanie.
You need to go to sleep and you'll wake up the
Would you
next
like
day.
some toast from our brand new Crandall toaster with auto browning control?
Wow.
Couldn't eat now. I saw what was left of her. It was horrible.
I'm sure it was, dear. I guess this reshuffles the deck, doesn't it?
What do you mean?
Well, the wedding is off for one thing, and Mr. Potsdam must be so disappointed.
So
The bathroom
disappointed.
will never be the same for him again.
Oh. Okay.
Don't forget to put the paper...
I've already put the papers out for Jimmy, don't worry. It's probably got to be nighttime, but I'm curious what nighttime is left, because there's really only one thing left, and that is we go back to here. I mean, maybe it's like getting the thing. So anyways, we have a ladder. We can use the ladder to get up onto this crypt because the front door is closed. Use any sort of sharp object on the skylight to crack a hole, and then, oh gosh!
Damn it.
This is the first time, by the way, the first time in the game that there's actually combat. Just gotta kill this thing, you know? He's here. I don't know what this is, man. It's just like... Come on, come on. There you go. Of course it dies a terrible fate, like pretty much everything in this game. Open the sarcophagus and wouldn't you know? There's a skull and spinal cord. Who left this here? There's nothing really else in this room. It's just curious that this is here. But yeah, no, this is where you find it. I think they start calling this the Potsdam family crypt. They don't call it that until now. Yeah, I guess. There's something a bit strange about that. But I don't know how to kick it into nighttime. That's my catch. Yeah, like there's a Steam page with like all these little secrets that you can witness in the game. Some of them are just like painfully obvious, or like you're gonna most likely talk to these people and see this thing. But yeah, all this says is it says on the night of day 6. No, only watchable on day 6 if you head back home after dark. And I'm like, there is no after dark. I have one interaction left and the disc changes. Oh, here we go. I was like, you gotta head home after something. And I was like, that was the one thing I hadn't done, was get the spinal cord. So I guess you get the spinal cord and try to go back to your home. Oh.
What the hell are you doing?
still in harvest for the annual blood drive, you have to donate.
What's happening here? Have y'all lost your minds?
You have only so long to find yourself. After that, if you're still a stranger, you have no one to blame but yourself.
Oh, there he goes. It's almost like they're in the same shot. And then we get this ominous clip of a flatline all of a sudden. But, everyone likes a good old beheading. That's always good. I do have to kill the dog again. That's... it's such a tricky thing to witness. Early drafts of the game, if you read up on it, probably had this being a bit more of a freeform system where you would have multiple days to find things. I think later games, like if anyone's ever played a Fallout 1, where it's got, like, you know, a proper time progression system, and you have 150 days to find the water chip before it actually is game over. It sort of was what they were trying to go with on this. They were like, at some point, there would be the blood drive, and that would be the end of the game. Probably due to overcomplication of how the whole game works, maybe playtesters just really didn't like it, they made the time of day progress at incredibly strict times. You have to get all the key items you need, which makes that scene so hard to experience, because you have to be done with everything in order for the time to progress. So there's nothing to really show otherwise.
You have done well.
But yeah.
Let the initiation commence.
Let it commence.
As your mystagogue, it is requested and required that I turn over this sacred dagger to you to aid you in your quest.
This reminds me of something.
You must now enter the lodge. Initiates find it a hostile place.
Are you supposed to help me or get me killed?
Yeah, it's a very weird one.
On the path of initiation to a very special, very exclusive brotherhood. I am merely the administrator of a test. Whether you view me as an enemy or a friend depends on how well you're prepared to pass.
And this thing? You haven't said what it is.
It's sharp and shiny.
A special weapon.
That's all you need to know.
It will be part of the initiation.
I just want to find out about Stephanie.
The two are intertwined.
Dang it.
Whatever occurs in here is relevant to the great question which you cannot help but answer. What is at issue is whether in answering the question you will find the answers you seek. You will encounter those intent on
he kind of yaps a bit.
Prompting your answer, depending on how you look at it. While the assumption is you want to live, dying is easy and provides its own answer, but not for you.
Just tell me, is Stephanie dead or being held within?
The membership director on the second level keeps track of such things.
Oh, great. Then you are against me.
No, it's in the system. It's in the system.
I am here to ensure
he doesn't know. It's not his role.
Observed.
Classic bureaucracy.
Deviation from a protocol shall result in punishment. Remember what I have told you. Now, let the initiation begin.
Oh, everyone likes a good old double doors. And with that ends Disc 2. Disc 2 is remarkably quick, because it really is just the back 2 days of the week, and honestly, there's not much to do. It's like, I have to get the glue, and then set fire to the diner, and then I have to... yeah, what did we have to do otherwise? We get the... just witness the witness the skeleton, steal the card, or take the card, show it to him, and then, yeah, get the spinal cord. So, anyways, let's switch the disc. So, on disc 3 is a bizarre change. First of all, we got these busts: Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, Beethoven, George Washington, Barbara Bush. You know, this is the final dungeon.
You're here.
You're gonna see a lot of
Excellent.
actors just come back
You'll find
for
them
some
through
reason.
That door.
Excuse me?
You are the exterminator, are you not?
No.
In that case, I'm afraid you'll have a hard time of it, sir. Recently, the lodge has become infested by pests. They
Pests.
need exterminating, or, to be blunt, sir, they need killing. And plenty.
Oh, okay.
We're not speaking of cockroaches. A bewildering variety of deadly beasts lie beyond, and just before the annual board meeting. Dreadful.
Dreadful.
I wish you good luck, sir. I only hope you can stomach what's ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, you sort of don't have anything other than walking backwards, so you go, oh. Alright, Tom, have a good one. And then we go down the flesh tunnel, because of course we do. And we enter, I don't know, the 90s does this. Phantasmagoria 2 had like a very similar kind of evolution here. Well, welcome to Goopy Flesh Time. Our inventory, for reference, is only the blade. Anything that... Halo 3 headquarters, true. Anything that we had before, it's irrelevant. It's the blade. The blade is all we need now. And, so yeah, we got goopy flesh everywhere. The lodge is a change in pace, because suddenly, killing is normal. The Sphincter, yes. Combat is a normal part of Disc 3 of Harvester. This picture here is actually a health indicator. We will witness that more and more. There's actually health items in this. It's so bizarre. If, for reference, there's 4 rooms that circles around, and there's another guy in this direction. That's for reference, if you're wondering about that. Do you have to go through here? Watch out for the Eyeball Man. There's a lot of unique enemies as well. You'll walk through this, and you'll be like, what is... what is happening here? And we're going to see a lot of rooms. So there's going to be a lot of just, like, witnessing lots of things. But it's actually remarkably... Oh, yeah. To a weird fighting game. All in the same engine, all in the same kind of mechanics of how this works. Also, upon leaving the strange rooms behind, you notice a burning feeling on your skin. You also notice a gooey film of slime covers your clothes. You have... the residents. I believe you have, like, 3 or 4 minutes... And then you start taking damage and start dying. Which I know, it's like you just got in here and suddenly it's huge panic. So we're sort of going to go a bit quick. We can head to the left where we will witness this guy here.
This is a cloakroom, sir. By definition, not a fitting place to seek answers. However, it's plain that the acid from your ordeal is eating away at your clothing and skin. I can clean your clothes for a minor consideration of $5.
Well, $5 is okay. He's got the toga here. You can try to take it, but, you know how that always goes. So, unfortunately, we can't do anything just at the moment. We head into this room. There's nothing really here. There's a radio, which you can switch to rock music, but there's also nothing really in here other than a brass duck and... very bizarre pictures. The 4-eyed cow. Everyone likes the 4-eyed cow. So anyway, let's head through here. Also, hi, but also, what a weird scene. Looks like these guys aren't having supper anymore. So, anyways, head through this door over here. And,
well, I hope you're proud
this
of
is
yourself.
Akira's
My
recasting.
clientele. Ever since the monsters invaded this level, the members have taken to dining with the Grand Poobah upstairs.
You mean ever since?
Actually,
Like, it
I have to
happened,
admit, my
like,
last few meals haven't
not
been up to
10 minutes
snuff.
ago or yesterday.
The
It's like,
problem
I
is
don't know.
the freshness of the corpses, or lack thereof. See, the supply has dried up. The Sergeant-at-Arms always used to insist that bodies killed on the lodge be disposed of without trace. And so the members would bring me their business for preparation and dissemination. Oh dear. You're not a member, are you? You're an initiate. Forgive me, I can't say another word about it.
Can you tell me anything that might help me?
Not really. Well, I hope you...
Oh, and then he goes to this line of dialogue again. I don't know why he always says this twice in this room.
Sorry. You'd need to talk to the membership director up on 2.
Can you tell me any...
Not...
Yeah, he doesn't really do too much. Well, murder is legal in this game now. So you might, well... I mean, not everyone you have to kill, but it's also like... Why not? But he does have a cleaver, which you can use in your inventory. You gotta make sure you pick up this meat. There's a sandwich here. You're gonna need that sandwich. The sandwich, for reference, is a healing item. You can right-click it if you're ever low on health. There you go. But don't take too much damage, because there's only like so many of these healing items. There is a very tiny cup right here. You're gonna need to make sure you grab this cup. And also there's more meat over here. Both of these, all 3 of these items are important. That's the reason why you go into this room. In this other room, there's this, you don't need to kill him, but the game doesn't care at this point. There's really nothing. Like, so, there's beer. 7 bottles of beer on the wall, 7 bottles of beer. Take one down, take one down. Also, specifically that one, Steve will get very dizzy, but take one down, take one down. Gotta drink all of it. There's no reason to drink all of it if you want. But after witnessing that one beer, if you look at the mirror, you're me, but bluer and also laggier. Unfortunately, he's got a scythe, so he doesn't have the ultimate weapon here. Yeah, I don't know why. On his, I think, is it on his person? Nope. Nope, he's just gone. Ah, but the cash register, nope, the cash register is still locked. Piano with the inscription Chicago on it. It's kind of fun hearing this music, very distorted as well. I didn't pick up anything, did I? Oh, the bar key, there you go. And look at that, $5 and $200. Very convenient. So let's exit here. And now we can present this guy with the $5. And then he cleans the acid off your clothes. And you're set. You're all good. You don't have to worry anymore. It's the stop dying time. So that's all good. That being said, this guy... I mean, again, you know... it's not like he's blocking the way. But you might as well. That shotgun is mighty useful. For the most part. Also, then you can take the toga if you want.
Damn it.
Toga, toga. Now, curiously as well, there's a slight puzzle here. I don't think the game actually tells you this. But you can put, you can put the toga back down on specifically the second peg and it opens up this wall, showing you more shotgun shells. Like rare gems, these shotgun shells have been secreted in this hidden room by someone who knew their value. As well as also a scythe. And you know what? Actually, the scythe is actually a good weapon to use. Just because it swings. It's very swingy. So. This door seems to be locked. Why? Because... why is it locked? Like, it's not the bar key.
Well, that didn't work.
Oh, that's kind of weird. Oh, no, yeah, do not even consider a pacifist run at this point. I forgot what happened here. This door opened somehow. This switch, there you go. Now, also, hi there. the sound effects I can't explain. Also, the skeleton bleeds. He's gonna hit. That looks like I'm about to die, isn't it? Time to eat a sandwich, I guess. There you go. I feel better now. It's kind of weird hearing this guy. You got a baseball bat? You know, the one that we could have had earlier in the game, but, like, you had to kill one singular enemy. You can also steal this pool cue if you want. You got a range of weapons, but none of them are particularly meaningful. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you got a shotgun, which seems obvious, and then, you know, at least a weapon that you kind of swing out seems like it's a bit, you know, bit more range. But yeah, no, this game, yeah, it's a realm of insanity. Now, obviously, walk out, and this happens, and you know what's next. You know what happened. You had to be curious about the bubbles. So, also, this is a very easy way to soft lock or hard lock the game. If you save on the other side of this, and you only have one of these chunks of meat. So, with that, I'm pretty sure I've heard this sound effect in lots of places before. We got the smelliest toilet in the world. The smelliest toilet in the world has weed killer up here. But also, it's got a sink. You think the kitchen would have a sink? But no, it doesn't. So you can use the glass on the sink and fill this glass with water. There you go. A large version of an ancient Roman vomitorium. You think this traffic cone would be meaningful, or any of these things would be meaningful, but nah, it's mostly just a lot of flavor text and things like that. Also, yeah, for reference, virtually every item we had in the rest of the game really doesn't mean anything. Like, they disappear here, but yeah, it's like, it's all gone. Yeah, make sure you use your other chunk of meat to walk back, because you're going to need to. Now, this is a curious split in the level design. You're allowed to... So, let's say the split. You're allowed to actually progress to the next level of the lodge with two different, I guess, paths. So, if you head into here, using that glass of water, very stanky water, you can actually extinguish this fire. Also, take this firewood, and you can examine the grate. Oh, it's a big spider! You know, this scythe isn't actually doing its work here. This scythe really isn't doing its work. Wow! You know? What do you use? Pool cue? Look how, like, lame he's holding the pool cue. The shotgun, I'd say, is okay, but there's not much ammo on it. Split paws? It is split paws, yes.
Damn it. Well, that didn't work. Man. Well, that didn't work.
Aw, man. Get him. Yeah, this thing seems to just have a much better job of hitting things. I'm going to use this all the time instead. That spider is just there to irk you here. Oh, and so is this wasp. Also, wasp? Excuse me? Okay. I'm gonna type wasp here. Now, you can head over to this left path, where you see this swingy thing here. And obviously, walking towards it is not a good idea. You probably don't want that. So again, we go back here. What you're meant to do is, you're meant to take the firewood that you had to move out of the way just then, and you put it on the switch, and it keeps your head on your shoulders a little longer. Heading through here puts you into this room where this guy starts beating you up. And you could fight him. But there's a much better path, and that is don't go this way. So, for reference, the paths converge there in a bit of a weird kind of angle. So, anyways, we'll check out the other path so you know which way is probably the more likely way you'd want to go. There's a big plant here, and obviously also don't want him to grace your face. Oh, that's the wasp save. We don't need the wasp save unless we want to die. Steve seems to lose his head in quite a bunch of endings. It's a bit odd, I don't know. So, But yeah, I don't know. There's probably like a lot of symbolism or imagery in these rooms. I don't know, stages of hell, stages of insanity or something. Anyways, we can walk over past, so for reference, yeah, the weed kill was used there. I think actually we can examine the gate and open the gate. We could then go inside the gate. Yeah, inside there's a fountain, which has a lovely reflection of Steve. And if you can spot with this little, you know, I Spy puzzle right here, there is indeed a... Oh my gosh, where is it? Where is it? Ah! I thought it was really close to me, but no, I seem to be actually very blind. Unless this moves in various places. Oh, I clicked it and then I moved my mouse very, very fast. I didn't pick it up, did I? Nope. Ah! There you go. It's right there on my shoulder. I knew it was closed down, but yeah. This, if you use the key on the fountain, is actually there's a hole just there, and then that allows you to leave here. Also, hi, I'm using the wrong weapon. Punch him in the face! Punch him in the face! Yeah, he's got a good swing on this weapon. I actually feel much more comfortable using the scythe than anything else. I'm specifically saving the shotgun. he's going at him. There's a lot of foul smelling stuff, but this is your other way of getting up to the next level of the lodge. You'll hear a scream, so that means you know you're going the right way.
Welcome to the Harvest Moon Art Gallery, sir.
Not every person in here is someone you've seen before, though.
So delighted you could come.
Such as the bellhop guy. Be an engaging experience.
That it will, I'm afraid. Art often forces engagement, doesn't it? Lovely works, pastoral scenes, noble
Actually, isn't this actor one of the firemen?
These are easy on the eye and mind. But when confronted with a work of hideous form, you're forced to deal with it, even if only to dismiss it as trash. Sadly, the most extreme works are the hardest to dismiss.
That's fair, I guess, maybe.
Are necessary. That should be taken for granted. Nevertheless, it's important that each individual determine his own sense of aesthetics. For that reason, I give you permission to obliterate that which forces you to linger too long.
Yeah, noise music is always great. You're going to hear a lot of fun noise music.
If only it were that simple.
So for reference, like everyone here, he doesn't even give you anything. He's just there. Okay. There's a couple of weird sculptures in places, and this thing. Oh, you know, the sentient statue.
All right.
This one has a key. But yeah, there's weird pictures. There's this fellow getting beheaded over here. Paintings with blood. Cowl face. Another statue over here. Just knock him over, why not? Samu for this one. It's, again, there's a lot of... And it's strange how quickly suddenly all this happens. Like, the beginning of the game is very captivating and alluring. This too is like, oh, it's just more of it. Like, it's the rest of the cutscenes. But then, like, it's so strange how every single room here is having different pictures, and none of this is, like, necessary to recognize or learn or anything. So for reference, there's 8 screens, so you start at one end, you go 4 screens across, and you can go out this way. It is a big pacifier, that is true, so... Anyways, let's save while we're up here. Big pacifier. So check out this room. Hi there.
Can I help you?
I'm looking for a girl.
This is a library, not a brothel.
Oh.
You don't understand. I have reason.
I have a reason that this is a brothel.
Do you know anything about that?
I'm afraid not. I tend to stay out of lodge affairs. I'm only in charge of the library, my good fellow. Well, if she is here, she's not been invited as a member. There are no female members of the order.
What does that make
To
her?
be sure, one or two have qualified throughout our history, but they're generally not of our caliber. I doubt there are any females in this building. At least none that are extant.
Oh. Yeah.
I'm not a member. Women are kept here for the services they are able to render.
Something about
Just as some
objectivism
jobs
in
are
this
beneath men,
in this
so
bit of
too
dialogue
can
here.
certain services only be supplied by women. If she is here, you'll find her on the 3rd floor, which you'll have difficulty finding without my help.
Okay.
And you want something in return.
I'll give you a clue as to how to get to the 3rd floor, but only if you'll retrieve an overdue book from one of our charter members, a Mr. Kane.
Oh, it's a
Since he
neatly
is so
large
highly regarded
library.
among
You got a
the
lot of
order,
empty space as
I'm
well for
loath
some
to approach him
more
on
books.
such an embarrassing matter.
You know, I respect that.
Therefore, bring me the book and I'll help you.
How will I know which book?
Oh, you'll know it. He's not an avid reader.
Okay.
Can I help you?
Ah, the line of dialogue's repeating.
How?
Okay. Yeah, it seems to happen a bit here. This area looks confusing, but there's actually not too much going on here. Like, it is a bit of a Y-shaped, I guess, corridor. I believe this is the room that... Oh, no. Hi there.
Let me see. Oh, yes. The new initiate. I'm the lodge membership director. What can I do for you?
Could you help me?
Shortly, you will run into a fellow named Mr. Kane. He has the strength of the truly insane. You will need help to get past him. They say that music hath charms to soothe the savage breast. Music alone won't do the trick, but an appreciation of music may net you something that will.
Okay. Alright.
Let me
keep that in mind.
The lodge is a traditional place, young man, and by tradition, when
There's
a
a lot
young
of
man
weird
is
clues,
courting
but
a
at the
young
end of the
woman,
day, killing
he wins
things
for her
is
Cupid doll at
a
the
very consistent
There is
strategy
no fair
here.
within the lodge.
Maybe intentionally.
However, I have
Wink,
seen
wink.
a thing which resembles a Cupid somewhere on this floor. Seek it out, slay it, and return here with a prize if you would seek your lady.
Okay. So, anyways, if we go in here... Yeah, there's this room here full of dolphins and a piano. Now, his clue about music is such a misnomer, but he is telling you to look in this room, because if you click this pillar, you can zoom into it, where you can very, 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 very faintly... Hold on, it's somewhere if I click hard enough. Just keep clicking. I thought it's on the dolphin of some variety. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's on the pillar. Where is it? Where is it? I'm gonna need it. This is important. Ah! You think maybe it's not this pillar, maybe it's a different pillar, and you click every pillar. Maybe you do click every pillar. Yes, you do. Yeah, there's a flail right there. Did you see that? Me neither. And now you can't... You can expect these two columns, they're different columns. Anyways, this flail is used for something in particular. Yeah, we haven't even gone to the big guy yet, but to be fair, yeah. So, if you take the other path, you were immediately in his room, and you have to kind of deal with him, like, right then and there. But also, in theory, nothing actually stops you from going into his room and messing up his day anyways. Like, if you're good on the hits, you don't have to worry about really solving any puzzle. Yeah, head into this room with the RuneScape arpeggio.
Excuse me, you can't come in right now. I just mopped the floor.
Oh.
You think just because I'm a janitor I got no pride? That's all I got to do all day is clean up after you rich bastards? Take a hike before you get hurt. All right, buddy. You asked for it.
Oh, and then he comes out with a nail gun and starts ruining your day. You sort of can try, but the nail gun it does wonders. The nail gun does wonders. There's not really much that you can do about him. And by not much that you can do, I mean... You 100% can do, you know, the easy strat, which is shoot gun.
Right.
The shoot gun is necessary for this. But you also get way more ammo for the shotgun than you'd otherwise use. This also grants you the nail gun, which has its own ammo. So you want to make sure that you've got that. And killing him is necessary, because you need to be able to cross here. Except this door is locked. This is the way to progress. But we'll need a key first. So, we can't go in here right away. Around here is this room. Yeah! So hold on, let me not save in the same room as someone just in case the logic decides to bug out. You know how it is. Hi there. You know he's great when he's got a picture of himself.
I am the chess master.
The chess master.
Any initiate who wishes to pass this way must do so over my dead body.
Oh, okay.
Being a civilized man, I offer my opponents a choice. Solve my problem or fight me to the death. Do you know how to play chess?
No.
Chess is a civilized game. How sad that we must now resort to a less civilized form of conflict.
So saying no, he does this, and a giant chess piece comes at you. The giant chess piece... Oh, and also he very dies. I just want to add that. But it's hilarious that there's a giant chess piece. Obviously, you might be wondering, okay, well let's play his game. Let's play his game of chess.
In that case, mate me and you may pass.
And so yeah, this game suddenly goes all 7th guess on you, and suddenly you've got this chess game happening here. So how do we beat this game of chess? Well, okay, so we first... Also, the frame rate is terrible. But we look at this and we go, okay, so he's got 2 pawns here. Obviously, if you move it here, he's just going to take the knight. He didn't say how many moves, but the setup is simple enough that there's not too much that you can really say. Like, obviously, if you're moving away, nothing can really happen. Also, he's going to move his king out, and you don't really get anything done. So the secret is obviously this space here seems quite pertinent because it locks him here, and he can't take you because otherwise he'd be in check. Now, that's not checkmate, because he can still move... Well, because he's not in check at this current point in time. Then the game immediately... the game's already telling you what to do because it's basically, you know, picking the pieces. So we move the, yeah, we move the king over here, and then you can move the, yeah, you move the knight over here. This puts him in check here, and he can't move here and here. That's a bit self-inflicted. Actually, no, it's not. That's checkmate. He dies anyways. But you didn't have to kill a chess piece to do it. Now, this is the most... How would I put it? I don't know what they were, like, drew from what the reference was. You gotta examine this dead body. Just reach in right there. Just reach right there. He had the key in his head the whole time. This one shot is so bizarre and abstract. Like, obviously, it's gruesome as heck, but also, why? Why? And there's something strange about how this whole third disc of Harvester plays out. This game not only goes through the whole psychological angle of this strange, bizarre town with all these strange people who are somewhat caricatures or something like that, but then suddenly, you know, it's like a proper, maybe not a murder simulator, but like this bizarrely gory. Oh yeah, it's a straight up a different game. So for reference, we're gonna head into this room with the flail. The reason is because if you hit him with the flail, you just casually gouge his eyes out, and then he starts swadding around, making the fight trivial. You don't have to actually do anything about him. Also, he has the book. So, also his entrails came out. I don't know. The flail was only really used for this one thing. But again, just like before, it saves you a bit of health because you didn't actually have to engage in anything. So now we got the book. So now we do a bit of walking around and talking to people. Wherever I had to go. I think it was around here. Nope, not you. Not here. I think it was along the way. Or it was these double doors. There you go. There you go. Have a book.
Ah, you've returned the book, I see. Thank you, young man. Feel free to look around the library for anything that interests you.
You told me you'd help me get to the 3rd floor.
Ah, yes. You'll need a special key, which is in the keeping of our resident chess master. Here is your clue. Along with the positions of his pieces, the chess master holds the key to the 3rd level, always in his
It's really not
thoughts.
much of a clue, is it?
That's the clue?
The best that I can give you. I'll write it down for you so that you won't forget.
She wrote it down, don't
If you
worry.
find this key, I'm afraid you'll never make it any further. Good luck.
Where was the other item? Because I didn't pick up anything else, unfortunately. Obviously as well, you know. Listen, man, no one gets out alive. Hold on, I got the thing that's like... where's the doll? Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is a bit odd. Yeah. Okay, so we had to go through here. Oh, this door's locked. Didn't we head in here? Oh, I'm so glad she wrote it down. Oh, wait, not there. Sorry. Yes. Sorry, I'm getting mixed up. All of this is probably the most confusing part of the whole thing, but somewhat rightly so. So the chess master's key I missed. The chess master's key gets used
man.
on this door. There we go. Ah, clown! And also the most vicious kill for a clown. There's actually an FMV sequence in the game for killing this clown, but it doesn't play. There's a jack-in-the-box here. Brown stains on the outside of this jack-in-the-box suggests you don't want what's packed inside to come spraying out. Okay. There's a half-eaten cake. There's a bunch of stuff around this room. But in particular, there's this doll. Also, hi, I'm on low health again. If only I had something that could heal me. Who knows? Also, there's a key here. I do have a glass of water. But I'm not too sure, really, how to, I guess, decipher all these different rooms. I don't know, there's something about a childhood. There's obviously, like, this, you know, picture here. Do children have birthday parties and they go to libraries and they play chess and something like this? Maybe there's a, you know, something deeply rooted in here. But let's head back out because the QP doll is the key to, and the key is the key to talking to this guy. Here you go.
Fine work. You're obviously an earnest young man. You're in luck. A quick check of my records indicates that indeed a woman was brought into the lodge, although I neglected to get her name. Since females are generally not considered for initiation, the young lady is currently being detained on the 3rd floor, in the Chapel of Love.
In the Chapel of Love.
Seek her there. And don't forget to bring her her prize. Little things
her prize
mean so much.
Okay. The key for reference is the key for outside. He doesn't have any care for the key. Obviously as well he can die, but there's nothing really to be done there. Murder for murder's sake, I guess. You know, honestly, I was gonna go into a ramble about the drama at some point, but you know what? Like, I'll just say the easiest way to explain that drama is or at least my stance on it, is I'm playing Harvester. You know what I mean? There's not really my stance is I do prefer when we can freely express games for what they were, even if they're grotesque and horrid in various ways. Usually someone made it for some artistic statement. You want to steal these 2 flagpoles. They get used in about 5 minutes time. You also want to come in here where you can find a lunchbox. And there's a sandwich in the lunchbox, which you'll use for later, except I need that, like, right now. Anyways, if you walk out of the room... Oh, exactly, yeah. So the drama in the Retro Achievements community, I might as well explain the situation. I think the timeline of events I can figure out is that a bunch of people on Blue Sky basically ranted about how there's a set in development for Pokemon Clover, which is a ROM hack released in 2020 of Pokemon Fire Red, the Clover being a reference to 4chan. It includes lots of 4chan humor, and my take is that people find humor to be not humorous, or they don't get it, or something like that. I'm like, you know, whatever, like, is the humor for them? Who knows? Is it making a grand statement? No, I think it's made as a game for the people who enjoy that kind of humor. But it's getting a set because it's actually got some qualities to it. It's got some things beyond the humor, like some actual kind of neat features that are implemented and not just like reskinning or remapping Pokemon Fire Red. It's like, oh no, they've actually, you know, created like character portraits and things and cross-porting things like the dive mechanic from Ruby Sapphire's in the game all of a sudden. It's like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. I would have thought there's more to do in here. Ah, yes, stealing planks. I believe there's 3 planks. There's one here, there was one in the previous room, and yeah, there's that, so you want that. I wish I could steal more sandwiches, though. If I use the shotgun... Well, I just wasted a shot there, but that's hopefully okay. This room's curious. It's got lighter fluid. I think you do need the lighter fluid. Complimentary coffin nails. Okay. But yeah, people on... and I say people. Very, very, very ideologically particular people on Blue Sky had a problem. And they've sort of been trying to rile a campaign against Retro Achievements for, you know, condoning... terrible opinions. And I'm like, okay, there's these masks here, by the way, and there's, you know, this would naturally mean there's 64 combinations for these masks, because it's like, what's happening here? I think there's a, you know, there's an example of what these masks are meant to be set at before. Maybe there's something somewhere that shows this, but I don't know, I just try every combination. It works out in the end. Let me just double check. Sometimes this... Alright. Sometimes that lunchbox comes back with a sandwich, and I would prefer that. Yes, the paste bin mentions one dude. I am going to stay a little bit away from... How would I put it? I usually don't name names, mostly because I forget the names off the top of my head. I don't particularly think it's right to single out the person, although I will say... oh, there's the bot. Although I will say this person has done this with other things in the past, and also what's really odd, and what's probably irked the whole community on this one, is that the founder of the site actively came out of like Blue Sky retirement to respond to threads on Blue Sky about this, as well as also this person's personal blog, which seems very odd that this has happened, and you know, who knows. I will leave the developments for that in particular until later, because there are going to be developments. I don't think the story's done yet, and instead of inferring what on earth's happening, I think letting some people explain themselves, which is most likely going to happen, is probably the best thing to do from there. Let's head into this room while we're at it. This reminds me of the room in Arkham City, where you, like the morgue room, and then you go back out and it's the same room again. There's nothing in here except maybe there's more sandwich. Nah. But there are washers filled with blood because you gotta wash them somehow. Stephanie's clothes? Oh no. And then we head out through this door. This room is filled with a puzzle, by the way. You have to know that you gotta deal with this sound effect the entire time. You gotta pick up the wrench, which is just a reused wrench from before. This dial is actually your time limit. If you wait long enough, the same fire death from Disc 2 happens. So you pick up 3 pieces of pipe and the wrench. You smack them together and you form an S-bend. Then you use the wrench to...
Okay.
Go back here. There are so many weird little items in this room. Use the wrench on this? Nope. There's something you turn somewhere. I'll get to it. You'll see me solve the puzzle in some variety. So back to the Retro Achievements one for a hot moment. Maybe I wrench this. Wrench is stuck solid. That's not a good sign. I don't suppose we just stick this in right now.
Well, that didn't work. Well, that didn't work, man.
No. Oh, now I can turn it. There we go. Slap that down and you don't need the other end. Put the S-bend in. Turn it back on. And the system's happy, and there's a key that just shows up. I don't know, it's like it's a trap. Someone made it for us. But I think the heart of the matter that a lot of people are... So for reference, what ended up happening is not only did the owner come in... So for reference, there was a double down on Retro Achievements supporting the dev making the set for Pokemon Clover as well as having the content up. They said, even though... I'm paraphrasing... I'm pretty sure the post was basically, even though, you know, people may object to the content, it's somewhat historically meaningful. You know, it's a good ROM hack. I think it's worth having, like, recognition that people put in work and made something like that, even if it's, you know, for content that people don't like, that kind of stuff. And then, yeah, I think they were saying this in particular because there were threats, and I will leave the threats ambiguous because who knows what the threats were in particular here. But threats are bad. Anyone making threats are, you know, the absolute lowest people in this whole story. So those people should be named and shamed and tarred if people find out who they were. I don't think the people advocate... Yeah, threats are never okay. Actioning on them is even worse. And what ended up happening much later was a certain other high-up member of the community got like an actual like private photo leaked somewhere. I don't know where in particular. I'd need to ask into that one. But he was basically like, I'm out. I'm done. This it's just all over. I'm just checking out. Another high-up admin, various developers. I'm sitting here going, I was giving Patreon money. I've sort of paused it for the moment because very shortly after the defense of the set came out as well, the reason why many people have left, the announcement of the set hasn't come out, but the announcement of that the set will eventually come out regardless of what people say because it's meaningful. The owner of Retro Achievements comes out and says, hey, actually, yeah, no, we don't host bad content on our site. So we'll be taking this down, and we'll also be taking down these other sets. And it's just like, oh, okay. So one of the sets is a game on the PC-88 called 177. It's a banned game for a very particular reason. I'm not going to say it out loud because that really does flag. It's more than that as well. It's a proper assault game. It's a proper you go out and do it. I can't say the word that starts with RA because obviously that will flag some things. Let's progress on. Someone's gonna wonder why I'm just standing here talking about this. Maybe I'll just ramble about this after the stream. Also, watch out! Someone's about to kill you. I think he's coming at me with a saw or something. But okay. Turbine scream and high-pitched whine. And then we've got this lava room If you picked up those wood planks, congrats. You only need 2 of them. You know, lava room, why not? Then you head into this room, and Indiana Jones traps on you. The ceiling starts lowering, and you've got to quickly put the flags down. Because wood's got a somewhat high like melting point. It's probably on fire. Your shoes are like really resistant. You gotta wait for this to move down. Imagine Portal if you had like buttons on moving platforms. Yeah, you see how this works? I don't know, it's kind of weird. Oh, hi there. You know what? Let's just go for it. You think after the first shot he'd kind of be like reeling, but no. Anyway, sneeze time. The obligatory sneeze of the stream. So, anyways, here's the rope to level 3. Thank you, my man. Level 3 is less puzzle and more make sure that you know how to kill people. And we're going to try our best here. It's fairly linear. But you just go through weird scenarios.
This is the Temple of the Mystery of Abstinence. Do not eat of the food or you will be punished. All within are hereby bound to a vow of abstinence.
So, to do this right, you legitimately wait until he eats all the food on the table. Also, I think is this a CG monster? It's not actually a real person. You gotta wait until the food is eaten.
You obey well, Initiate. Better than your brethren. They have eaten and grown stronger for it. As promised, I will not punish you for your obedience. But they will.
You still gotta fight him. I gotta stop shooting the ground though, I tell ya.
You obey well, Initiate.
But he doesn't die, so don't worry. Well, I mean, you can't kill him if you want anyways. Actually, you know, might as well. Okay, not might as well. Now, there's 2 doors. Oh, this one's locked, so... this one was removed from the German release of this game.
Complain that their children don't come to see them.
Mommy, you're so good. You're so good.
Oh, you know, just a bit of humble cannibalism.
This is the mystery.
What did I say? This was a war-free stream? I take that back now.
Is fulfilling, when in reality, it's draining.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You don't know the half of it.
Yeah, cannibalism is really frowned upon in most parts of the world.
Children are parasites. That's what you've got to understand.
What a game to have while we're talking about censorship on RetroAchievements.
Pumping from your belly through obscene pink tubes into their thieving hearts.
Although, to be fair, the drama started before last week, so...
They keep leeching the life from
I didn't know much before.
Mommy, you're so good.
Oh, we're going to show this one again. Yeah, okay.
Of course, my children are better at it than most. Is that the bliss of motherhood? That's the mystery. Just what the world needs. More greedy.
I feel like there's a comical amount of blood in this room as well.
Children suck the life out of society. They have to be protected, nurtured. Everything has to be childproof and rendered childish. Sadly, they'll suck the life out of you too. You too.
Now this is topical, yes. I'm gonna switch to the to the baby killing tool here. Dude, the best part as well, oh, we crashed! We actually crashed. We actually hit a crash. Amazing. Amazing. Alright, we saved before the room. Didn't really lose anything at all other than I have to skip some dialogue. That's a real proper seg fault right there. Alright. Yeah, I can't explain it. Anyways, you gotta kill 3 children. Oh man, he stabbed me a bunch. I'm probably going to die immediately. You know what? Let's actually redo that with a different weapon. Maybe the scythe is actually the better one. Because I can't use the gun. It's not... They're too short. Hi there. You save... Yeah. Save one kid and yeah, exactly. Yeah, this seems to scythe up kids pretty well. There you go. She doesn't care. She doesn't care. Okay, she really doesn't care, but still. This door is locked. Because we gotta leave, so... Since that was a clean go. I think it's healthy to save between each room as well. Hi there.
Welcome to the Temple of the Mystery of Religion. The mystery is thus. Those who preach love and mercy in God's name are often those who call for the death of heathens. Do you believe in God, my son?
Well, hypothetically,
You are wise. His mercy anoints us all. And where doth he dwell?
This is actually just a Christianity test as well.
Indeed! Any other response?
Like, there's no clues in the rest of the game.
Answer me this, if the word be with you. Does the Lord bounce on a spring or frolic with the wombats?
I believe it's frolic with the wombats.
Yes! The fields of the Lord are rife with wombats, and he is their shepherd.
Oh, it's a Protestant answer. Oh.
If thou be virtuous, doth God Almighty herd them with his staff or with special imported wombat herding equipment?
Well, I mean, this one is probably a
Naturally,
clean guess.
God, being almighty, hath no need to import anything his staff doth serve. Now, I ask thee one final question, which is only known to those amongst the ranks of the saved. Is God a jar of strawberry preserves, a size 12 sneaker, a foot-long hoagie, an all-expense-paid trip to Brazil, or a new car?
It's the jar, yes. Trick question's always a tricky one.
Oh, I'm so
sorry.
He is in fact an all-expense-paid trip to
I mean,
Brazil.
he is chilling there.
You have not seen the light, my son.
Ah.
We shall open your eyes, even if we must shut them first.
And then his fellas come at you, you know, as they do. I mean, it's fairly alright, but you don't get anything if you answer it right. He just doesn't kill you, I guess. So don't worry about it. Should have known it was the trip to Brazil. Well, this room looks familiar, doesn't it? A couple of dead people on the way, I guess, but that's okay. True. Go to Brazil. This room is, there's a Medal of Honor, dead children. Yeah. So, yeah, I just wanted to mention, I kept saying I wanted to do, Realms of the Haunting as the first DOS game, my first pick for a DOS game, if the DOS rollout happened on Retro Achievements. I realized I said Harvester first in the chat. I knew I wanted to do Harvester as a second pick, but I actually forgot I put Harvester first in the real chat. So, yeah, I'm like, bro, I don't know, if we're going for, like, censorship, anti-censorship credentials or whatever, it's like, just remember, I put this game down and it's like, yeah, this represents DOS. So, yeah. Anyways, shotgun shells, which is necessary at times.
I'm just passing through. You think it's that simple, huh? Just passing through? Well, my family was just sitting around.
And look where it got them.
What is this?
The Temple of the Mystery of Morality. My country paid me to kill. And then when I came home, I was out of a job. They expected me to stop? Cold turkey? Is that what they wanted? A paycheck today, jail cell tomorrow? Am I a criminal or an entrepreneur? Hey, let's find out.
And then he comes at you with a knife. This weapon doesn't work. This weapon doesn't really do it. Well, let's take the shotgun bullets, because... shotgun shells, rather, because we have them.
What of it? My country.
What of it? And then they tell you there's nothing meaningful on his body, so... oh well. Everyone likes a good old bloody corpse in their scene. It's weird, this like has the outside visible. Are we on the roof? No, that's a painted ceiling. Still, it's a very... can't... oh yeah, 100%, yeah. Then we head into this room. This is like the one recurring character.
The mystery of flesh, Steve. Have a bite?
Mr. Potsdam?
The mystery is this. Sometimes you have to lose some meat to get some meat. They wouldn't let me in until I demonstrated my worthiness. My invitation came after I buried Karen alive. That showed initiative.
That's right, that was a plan the whole time.
Was your ticket in, right?
Yes, but to be initiated into the mysteries of the harvest, I had to do one last thing. I let them into the house and into Stephanie's bedroom. Sorry, that's not my department. Now I'm a butcher. You should have gotten your dad to hire me on. That way, you could have been the boss, instead of the prime cut.
Here he comes. Here he comes. Well, we get to do what you've probably wanted to do the whole game. Watch him walk into the wall. Because he's a bit of a doofus. I'm curious if I could just, you know, give him the cut. Oh! Save some ammo. Well, I seem to be really copping it, so maybe not, actually. Well, let's shoot him anyways. Remember, we still got the nail gun, so you can always rely on that.
Mr.
And that is kind of weird that he, like, does not know which way I am. Oh, he's a heavy boy, though, I'll tell you that. Okay. Anyways, through the door we go. This is a room and a half.
Looking for a good time at a reasonable price?
Gosh, every single part of this disc is like... how would I put it? It's YouTube advertiser bait. It is real rough. It's like...
Alright, that'll be $200.
Oh, wouldn't you know? Here it is. Here's $200. Also, sup, Derpy?
Alright, honey.
Harvest of
One of the
love.
ladies will be right with you.
This is, almost. Don't worry, it's just a back
Thanks
shot.
for stopping by, stud. You shouldn't have picked Crystal, though. She hasn't been feeling well. I'd be sure to get to a doctor if I were you. These diseases can have pretty horrible effects, you know.
Yeah, So, for reference, yeah, having sex, you get the disease, and very, very gradually, over the next minute, you will die. Not really any fancy way, just, you know, your just health goes down, but still. Yeah, you feel the pain from the hooker's disease. Yeah, your health starts going down, so even as you go into other rooms. Oh. No, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. Anyways, you're gonna die. Don't worry. Well, I'm really gonna die now. Oh my gosh. Ah! Ah! I like how when there's combat, you can't load as well. You can't save and load for the obvious reason of you probably will goof it up. So, which is why I didn't save back here. So, anyways, the secret is to...
Scorn mixed with desire, that's our lot. Such is the mystery
the secret is to not have sex.
So often the instruments of lust, as all instruments of higher
Abstinence
pleasure,
is where it's
are
at.
condemned as frequently as they are sought after. I'd go on about the hypocrisy of a hedophobic society, but I think I'd rather just kill me a man.
Oh, okay. And there she goes. She's just chilling on the couch the whole time as well, so... but if you check in her hand, she's actually holding a mirror. You can grab that hand mirror, and that is somewhat important. There is a way. Yeah, there is a way, and obviously you can just brute force and kill everyone in this game. You don't necessarily have to solve their problem.
Welcome to the Temple of Beauty.
There are 3 temples in the temple.
Oh man, look at my hair, black as a moonless night. Look into my eyes, deep pools.
I always
of
found it's
desire.
weird. I don't know.
Look at my
There'd be so many
complexion,
similes and metaphors and stuff for
white
writing,
and
and I'm
glistening.
like, I don't know. Like your eyes are pretty. I don't know. You're not that hard. Get over it, toots. No, you gotta flatter her.
And what else?
Your lips are like cherries.
And what else?
And your hair is like silk.
And what else?
And here's the mirror.
Oh no! Look at
So
me.
the mirror comes into play
Do you see
immediately.
that? I'm fat, fat, fat.
Oh, you lost a bit of weight in your cheeks.
There. Am I not beautiful? Look at my complexion.
I don't know why the
Pale white.
music doesn't loop right.
Gleaming.
Okay. Anyways, I think she just lets you leave. I don't think you actually have to kill her in this case. Yeah, you can just leave. As a yokai like this. Yeah, it's a yokai watch time. There you go. We saved one. Hi there.
Welcome, Initiate, to the Temple of the Mystery of Pain. The mystery is thus.
I haven't played any yokai watch game.
Nerves may break one man and yet leave another unmoved. The physiology is the same. All nerves sing alike, yet the results differ. The question can only be answered by paradox. Although the body functions
And the
according
DLC
to the tenets
model.
of science,
How dare they?
the invocation of pain is an art. My implements are simple things, like a painter's brushes, from which beautiful complexities spring. Different stories brought forth from different canvases, with the different application.
I hope you use different 3 times in the same line.
I invite you now to torture this man on the table, to explore this blessed mystery yourself. Otherwise, I'll have to teach you the lesson myself.
Well, we might as well. So, give him a whack. Oh, come on. You good there? Give him another one. Yes, it is the same clip every time. Oh. Maybe we went a bit too hard. But that's okay, because, he's cool with that. Also, there's a syringe here.
Okay.
You know, just in case. Just in case you need a syringe. But no, that is the puzzle. Is to actually torture someone. You know? This game, I tell ya. Hi there, how you doing?
Welcome to the Temple of the Mystery of Charity.
What mystery is there in charity, for God's sake?
The mystery is thus. Any act of charity is an act of selfishness. For in any charitable exchange, one must take from another, and one is always left the poorer.
Well, technically, delivering the shopping trolley back is an act of selfishness, and I don't know, maybe it's not charity. He receives a great feeling.
A feeling? Discouraging answer, Initiate. You see, though I am needy, I do not consider myself a beggar so much as a taker. I require charity, Initiate. Give me something.
Go to hell.
I'm a taker, Initiate. Allow me me to take you there.
I would have thought that you would have, Oh, he's got the wide reach right there. I would have thought you gave him the syringe, like from the previous room, but also, man! You whacked all the meat off his bones. Dang. I wonder if he'll be okay. Well, he might be like 2 hits away from death, but you know what? That's okay. I wish your health either respawned or you had, like, more items, because legit, they don't give you many items. They sort of expect you to just get through most of this without really copping it. Hi there.
This is the Temple of the Mystery of Mercy.
You have a filter on your voice. You probably want to sort that
As
out.
part of your initiation, you'll be required to execute them. That's how old people are disposed of in the lodge. And each member is expected.
This is historically accurate, by the way. Easy.
They're weak, but by retiring death, you'll advance yourself. Hold. They're begging you for mercy.
Let's get some real old people to murder in this game. Sure, yeah.
An unfortunate decision.
I mean, no, whoops.
Love's is the mystery of mercy. Life is a competition, and mercy a perversion of the natural order.
I wasn't listening to what he said. I talked over it, and then I said yes accidentally.
You give him a second chance to beat you.
And then he comes at me. He can't get me when I am him. Oh, and he's got a sword. Okay. Anyways, you probably want the fun route. The fun route? The murder old people route. Why not?
Then finish them. Initiate. Thus is the mystery.
There we go. Yeah. Murdering old people is great. Man, this guy's tall, ain't he? Yeah, I feel like getting his sword's okay, but it does have a wild swing, though. This might be useful. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take the sword. But we're gonna new slot this one, just in case. It's the S word. Head through this door, and this is probably the worst of the rooms. Because it's a proper fight that you can't ignore. And also he shoots you. And also, DOSBox really just crashed then. Like, it's gone. Proper DOSBox crash. Don't worry. Don't worry. We got the auto conf right there. Wow. Very crashy. Time to use cheats for... Well, I do... Okay, so funny you mentioned cheats, because there are multiple cheat codes for the game, and they're all, like, you have to type words... Like, hold on, I've got this somewhere. You have to type, things like murderer, and then, like, Boston Strangler, Charles Manson. Like, you have to write the names of real murderers for the cheats. I hope you see where this is going as well. Also, this would actually be perfect time to use the nail gun. We got plenty of nails. Oh, do we not have more nails? I thought I would have had more nails. Oh, you can cure the vaccine as well. Okay. Well, that's fun that you got that. It's a Dalek? Yeah, that's a Dalek. I mean, I might as well use the shotgun. It's really for this room. Okay, well, I thought it was actually worse than it was. It really was just 2 guys. I had saved a lot of ammo, so we're all good.
Welcome to the inner sanctum, big guy.
Principal Harold?
It was
Within
him
the
all
inner
along.
sanctum, you will address me as Vice Muck Harold,
Vice
second in
Muck?
command to the Grand Muckety Muck. He of the Fez and Buffalo Ham, the secret handshake, the funny passwords. Only fitting, given that my role has always been that of an educator, and Harvest is one big classroom.
What do you mean?
You'll have to kill me to find out what he means, big guy.
Okay.
And as revenge for showing photos of my lieutenant and Miss Whaley.
Oh yeah, it
around
catches you off
Harvest,
guard because you've been
deriving
taking
cheap
damage the whole
amusement
game.
from the
You're gonna
sacrament
cop
of
it
their
by that
coupling.
room.
I'm going
The first
to make
guy's
it
got a gun. He's
especially
just gonna
difficult
casually get
for
a pot
you.
shot on you. Anyways. Well, if it wasn't for... Also, I did not save between those rooms, so I probably should have. That one's on me. See, I hate that room. The syringe would help a little tiny bit. And maybe not wasting ammo in here. Nothing changes for sharing the fellow around. There's a lot of illusion of choice in the first two discs. So no matter what you do, the entirety, like disc 3 plays out the same. They take all your items. Nah, none of the fights change, which to some extent is a bit disappointing, but it's also like, you know, I guess this game really wants to tell what it's doing here, and it's so weird and abstract that, I guess, oh, he just doesn't say a second line? Okay, anyways. Gosh, we're really copping, aren't we? I mean, we got some saves from much earlier, but still, it's like,
Welcome, print with
what do you?
There we go. We got there.
This is always a great.
That was technically the final boss, by the way. I just want to add that.
Over the threshold and becomes.
Gosh, he's got these shoulder pads.
Stephanie?
I believe you have something for her.
There it is.
Ring the bell and win a prize for the lovely lady. Or is it win the lovely lady as your prize?
Enough games.
Agreed.
Ding. This is the ending of Crash Bandicoot, technically. Oh, well, sort of.
Each time you climbed the rope, you caused her pain. But you always hurt the ones you love.
It was only 2 climbs. Like, it wasn't that bad, but... I can't explain why she's wearing lingerie. I don't know. Where was the pain happening?
Is that all you require?
I want an explanation.
Of course you do. There are no such things as monsters. And yet, you've killed monsters. Everything in Harvest is just slightly askew. This is because, as advanced as our technology is, we cannot make the sim any better than this. The subject's subconscious always warps it in unpredictable ways.
Did you catch that one ahead of time?
Sam?
This is nothing more than a virtual reality designed by the Harvesters to test potential members. Having successfully completed the program, you have earned the right to become a Harvester.
We did it!
Hell is a harvester.
The hand
like a farmer
that grips the knife that stabs. The ones who move amid the crop and harvest the fruit.
You're talking about people. Killing people.
Again and again and again, I believe the technical term is serial killer. The harvesters
To be fair, I hate
to
rice bubbles just as much as
perpetuate
anyone else.
terror and discord for our own purposes. We do this through the random utility of murder, and we persevere through our recruitment of initiates like yourself.
I got this one on Steam. It goes on sale quite a bunch.
Become a serial killer.
It's also on GOG if you want to get it there.
This entire
No unpatch
reality
necessary.
has
It's just
been
it is as it
engineered
is.
to break down your resistance, to desensitize you to violence. Now you may become a harvester and re-enter the real world, or stay in peace with young Stephanie and spend the rest of your life in the construct known as Harvest.
What is the real world at this point?
Right now, you are suspended in a sensory deprivation tank, wired to a VR tech.
I knew Oculus was thinking of something weird.
Your life support, and you will be dead within minutes. Those last minutes, however, will seem like a lifetime lived in Harvest. You will marry Stephanie and die peacefully of old age.
You're presuming a lot.
Aside from you, she is the only real person in Harvest, suspended in a tank, jacked in just as you are. I assume you'll want to spend time together.
If I stay.
Of course.
I love the different angles he gets.
Completed your ordeal. You may leave with her as you intended and enjoy your victory. If, on the other hand, you wish to join us, the cost of exiting the lodge is the same as the cost of entering the lodge. A skull and spinal cord.
Ding.
Hers.
No. You couldn't kill me. These harvesters, they put people through this torture to give them a taste for killing. The way to beat them is to deny them. To live out your life here. With me. You're thinking about killing me, aren't you? Didn't you hear what he said? I do exist. If you kill me here, I'll die for real. And I'll feel all the pain, all the terror, because I'm real.
Well,
dun, dun,
after
dun.
all, what's a murder without pain and terror? We will feed the pain impulses directly into her brain and then pull the plug. You will be a murderer, this time for real. So what will it be? Life in Harvest, or life as a harvester? Choose now.
So it's at this point in the game where I was like, oh my goodness. Also the game, there we go. Got this lovely picture of him, which you can indeed save on. So I do appreciate they let you just immediately, you know, backtrack on which option you want to do. But before I dive into either of these endings, I just want to say that, like, this game, it's a journey. It's a really wild journey. The point and click angle, the kind of breadth of the world, there is no secret third option. It is very strictly a, well, I would say it's a good and a bad ending, but, you know, circumstance, I guess, has put him in a bit of a weird spot for what is good and bad, but what a bizarre game. It's so off-kilter. It's so bizarre. I think my reading into it is that the whole world of Harvest is full of, it's entirely full of stereotypes and I guess a world where everything happens and nothing happens. You've got all the angles of you know, I get, and especially as well, Steve is, you know, from the 90s. He knows what color television is, and he believes that, you know, too much television can rot your brain. Too much violence on TV can rot your brain. Like, everyone's hyper-fixated on something in some variety. You've got people who, you know, maybe they own a humble business and that's what they do, but people drive, you know, their desires to obsessions. So Mr. Potsdam having this very strong connection to the I guess the sensation of meat, and certainly you can go for the metaphor of like, well, what is meat? It's the reduction of human beings into raw material, effectively, which is a very brutal way of going about it. And somewhat, isn't it a coincidence that your dad is a meat? He's not just a butcher. He runs a slaughterhouse. Very odd there. The crimes as they build up, I do think, is a rather, like, it's a very well-told journey of that descent into some sort of chaos of some variety. Because yeah, you start the game and generally, you know, you don't have to kill anyone. You can be a good person, but you can also get away with it. The feature is sort of there the whole time. You're not ever required to get into it unless the story basically requires you to cause people to effectively encounter their deaths more and more and more in an intentional manner. The third disc of the Lodge, sort of Undertale, isn't it? Yeah. Although Undertale gives you that option of being, you know, an altruistic good person at the end of the day. And also Undertale is a lot more actiony of a game. All of this is done through storytelling and I guess point-and-click adventure and dialogue. But it's fun that pretty much all of it's voice acted as well. This whole third act of the game, this whole third disc, where you climb the lodge in a combat-oriented setting, it certainly catches you off guard, where you're suddenly like, oh my gosh, I gotta deal with health, and I gotta deal with all this other stuff in the game, but it comes sort of naturally, because, I mean, everyone just sort of dies immediately, but the amount of gore, the viscera, and all that stuff, oh yeah, exactly. This game is crazy indulgent as well. All of everything that is mature or like audience geared, the gore, the language, the sexual innuendos, I mean, I missed the sex scene earlier, but like all of this stuff, it's sort of deliberately so over the top that this whole point of desensitizing the player to the craziness and the wildness of the world, such that you get to, I don't know, you sort of get to believe these acts that you're doing are just a natural cause of the wackiness of the world. But really, then the game immediately tells you, it pulls the Spec-Ops the line strat on you. It pulls the rug and it goes, this is all a simulation. This is all a video game. And you, the player, right here, he's staring right at you, the player. You, the player, played through this. Did you feel anything? If not, is this the statement? And the endings of this game pretty much spell it out for you by the end of that, but giving you the option at the end gives you that one last, like, was it worth it, or is it like, you know, this is the thing I truly seek out for? And while, you know, like, okay, at the end of the day, it is a bit of a point-and-click adventure game with just like 2 cookie-cutter endings right here, and obviously, you know, maybe different players will sort of blend in and out of the different, you know, kinds of themes that the game's going on, but yeah. Oh, yeah, you always kept asking if we needed to kill people, and in a utilitarian sense, I would always say we, you know, well, we never did kill anyone other than using a bit of a save load, just, you know. In this main run, no one in Harvest died except for those big story events. And then we killed everyone in the lodge because it's an action game. And I guess that is a unique take on this as well. Yeah, people see violence in video games, and especially in this year. I think this game, I don't know when it started being developed, but it would have probably been greatly influenced by the Night Trap and Mortal Kombat kind of controversy. Because this game, I mean, it's sort of got the demos and the trailers from 1994. It was sort of going to be released right at that time. And it never did. Columbine was 99. There's been tons of mass shootings before Columbine. Columbine's a very impactful one, and the body count's quite high, which is why the media definitely wrote it a ton. But there was a lot of mental health issues. The fact that serial killers sort of have existed for quite a while and somewhat got I'm not too sure if it was maybe at the time, but there's sort of this bit of a wave of like support for serial killers. Some of that still slightly exists to this day. I think there's certain, like, here's a political statement of the day, but like I remember the Luigi Mangione one, and it's just like there are people out there who are like, yep, you know, he's doing the good stuff, and it's just like I feel like the simple statement should be murder is bad. Murder is absolutely terrible. Even if people don't like the person who did get killed. I'm just like, bro, like murder is terrible. I think we said this a couple of weeks ago as well, because there was that other the pundit, Charlie Kirk. Yeah, it's crazy. The world is crazy somewhat. And isn't it strange that a game from 1996 that I guess effectively is one of the most grotesque and somewhat literal murder simulators ends up sort of being somewhat profound in its statement by shining the mirror back on the player. Now, what on earth is with the rest of Disc 3? Up to your interpretation. I don't know, maybe you go through like circles of hell or deadly sins or that kind of stuff. There's so many vices and other sort of weird angles of maybe insanity or like the cults of society in some way. Like, we hit prostitution, we hit religion, we hit TV mass indoctrination, we hit the sort of gladiatorial form of entertainment, the post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm trying to think of what are some other ones. I guess vanity and maybe lust in some regard there. To some degree, to be fair as well, the whole first floor where you're literally going through like goopy sewers and then have to solve a puzzle. I think they literally had a puzzle. I think that's more the theme of what they were going on there. They had a bunch of things. They didn't quite know what they were going for, but and to some degree, yeah, like if we're gonna rip on the game for various things, the combat is very hit and miss. Like, I am kind of right-click spamming. It's a bit weird. Generally, the puzzles in the first two discs feels right, but there's so many loose items that just don't get used, and it feels a bit odd. Obviously, as well, there is too much of the game that doesn't add up. Realms of the Haunting felt very, very direct, and Realms of the Haunting also had probably some smarter, if maybe a bit more cryptic puzzles, but it was a lot smarter in how it laid out the world. Just remember as well, Realms of the Haunting was the year after this game, so it is a different kind of thing. 97, so it's not, like you could maybe attribute a bit of extra technology or something like that to it. I think Normality came out this year, and I need to beat that game in order to truly know. That was the game that studio, Gremlin Software, they did just before, which uses the same engine, but they don't have the first-person shooter angles. It's a lot more like it is still a first-person point-and-click adventure, but it doesn't have combat. It's a lot more straightforward. But yeah, no, I need to replay that one to sort of remind myself what's going on there. So, anyways, you've probably been sitting there wanting to see an ending, so let's go for the ending. Let's start with the Mary ending, which I don't think is the as fun ending.
You had possibilities.
I'd rather die than become as twisted as you.
You've made your choice and succeeded in your quest. Enjoy the life you've chosen, such as it is.
They did it! some degree, somehow they managed to get an actual... Yeah, it's not the normal wedding march. And... yeah. Also, you don't even get... She didn't even get your surname.
What a waste. This kid could have been something. Never looked back. We got 2 more to plug in. There's gotta be a better way to develop these serial killers. This is scientific. You want we should go back to the old way? What old way? Good breeding.
So, yeah, to some degree, the good ending.
You had possibilities.
Also, hi, did it?
I'd rather.
Did it kick in twice? Okay, very weird. Anyways, we get credits. It is technically an ending. I don't know why the cutscenes are playing twice. Who knows? But nah, the amount of FMV in this game is very, very ambitious. And this game is really, really ambitious for what it is. But I think they delivered on something that feels very solid and very profound in what it's saying. And at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, no, they've done a great job. They've done a really good job. Filmed in Dallas. Can you spot the accents? Oh, exactly, as well. Like, yeah, commenting on all these voice lines that only get mentioned because you showed this one item to this one person, maybe even at this one point in time. But, like, yeah, dude, the dead Vietnamese family was just like a real family they got in just then. It is a game over, I guess, so. Anyways, back to The Choice. Obviously, you want to see this ending, don't you?
Please help me.
So, you have to act it. So,
Please, somebody help me.
just remember, I am clicking the right click on this one. Every swing is you as the player. This was your decision. Get that loading screen tip that says this was your fault. Oh, I hope you appreciate that.
Finish her.
Just metal ending right there.
Wow, that was neat.
They just had to.
Welcome to our order, brother.
And then we get a glimpse of the real world. That's not a taco.
Where are you going?
Nowhere. Nowhere at all.
Oh, you know. You know.
What are you doing, son?
Playing harvester.
That thing? I looked at it the other day. The very thought. Breeding serial killers. It's disgusting.
It's cool.
You'll rot your mind playing games like that. Don't you know people who watch violence become violent themselves?
That's bullshit, Mom.
No, it isn't. Why do you think they started cutting the violence out of those Roadrunner cartoons?
Roadrunner cartoons. Roadrunner cartoons?
Can't explain this very last shot here. Somehow he swallowed a finger with a ring that doesn't protrude from the finger at all. The alleged bad ending is admittedly a lot more hilarious and also impactful of an ending. One, because you basically, you know, you get told, okay, everything you did in this game was fake murder. This is real murder. and she has more health, and she also doesn't fight back. She just screams, and that's it. But I don't know, there's something kind of hilarious about the fact that he starts playing this game, and he gets the, you know, the your mom hates Dead Space kind of talk going on. But yeah, no, this game, it's a treat, it's a charm, it's an absolute like journey of a game. Is it for everyone? No, you gotta really stomach this kind of stuff. But if you really like, I mean, if you dig FMV games, this one's up there. If you dig, like, you know, spooky or just kind of weird psychological horror experiences, I really like it. It's got a lot of charm, a lot of stuff going on with it. Is it perfect? No, we hit a lot of weird bugs along the way as well. But it's a journey. It's a real weird one. So, but yeah, that's about it. So, I don't have too much to say. Any other closing thoughts? There was the Steam Autumn Fest that happened. So unfortunately it's not on sale just at the moment, but it seems to go on sale virtually every Steam sale. And it's on Good Old Games as well. The sex scene. You really want the sex scene? Okay, let's figure out the sex scene. So, did I put it in the I want to? Not that disc. Not the Johnson residence. They probably won't let me in here. I might be not stuffed for the day. I'm just curious if hold on, because we need to set fire to this. not turn myself in. We gotta be thorough. That is true. Because I'm just worried that like she's gonna be dead on this next day, and we're gonna need to. I'm pretty sure you can trigger it on day one. I don't particularly think. And to be fair, you know, I can blitz through to day 2 and all that stuff. I keep forgetting about the cake tin. So yeah. So while we're doing this, let me just finish up my thoughts on good old retro achievement stuff. That drama. So obviously the I think hitting the heart of the matter is censorship of games good? And I mean, obviously describing it as censorship seems like, you know, like, oh, you know, I'm not pro-censorship, that kind of stuff. Like, people will always say that. I think it's very easy for people to manipulate others into thinking that this topic is about something or the other. Anyone who says, like, it's very, very pro-censorship, I think there are some games out there. I think the existing example that's always used is the Guy game, where I think a lot of people will go, is anything lost by not having the Guy game as a supported set on the site? I guess there's that. And you can read up about that one. I personally don't have any reason to object against it, although I am a little bit like, I am curious where I draw my lines personally, because there's other ones where it's like, yeah, it's not a great game. It ticks my box of it never got banned, technically. It was pulled, but it was not made illegal, which is a very curious note. Yeah, I feel like if I go here... Oh no, she is alive. Maybe. Yeah, okay. We might be good.
Steve.
Yes! Okay, we're good.
To see
we're
you
good.
Again. I get so lonely in here.
I'm sorry. Want to hear what's happening out in the real world?
No.
I'm not too
I'd
sure
rather
if I'm
forget
about to
about
have the
Harvest for a
conversation
while.
about everything.
Stephanie?
I feel so close to you, Steve. Like we're the
You know,
only
the screen
two
flashed
people
black
in
there. I didn't
Harvest.
click anything just then.
The only two real people.
You can experience this
You
sex
know
scene
what I
multiple
mean?
times, so it's not a one-off. Yes.
I need
yes.
to
Okay,
feel
don't worry.
something
We're doing
again.
it.
This
We're in
sense
for
I
it.
have that I've known you. It's my only link to my past.
It's a good game.
Maybe it's different than memory. Maybe we don't remember each other so much as we recall the feelings deep inside. Strong feelings.
Maybe the body has its own memory.
Let's find out.
Yep. They go for it.
I want you. Make love to me.
They go for it. And then you can say yes.
Then take me. Now.
Although the music doesn't exactly inspire any confidence. Oh yeah, 100%. So you get to see this happening. Don't worry, we don't go there. We don't go there. Don't worry. Although we do have to see his armpits. Ugh. That's the closest you'll get. I'm pretty sure she's wearing a lingerie the entire time. There you go. That's all you get. And then you walk out of here and you don't particularly get anything
Did
else.
you say hello to your father? You know, with a slaughterhouse full of...
Yeah. That's pretty much it. Oh, does she say... No, she doesn't say anything. If anything as well, you can invoke this scene again.
I'm glad to see you. I feel so alone, cooped up in here. I saw the TV station go up from my window. It lighted up the whole town. It looked like hell.
It's a real thin window to get this line, isn't it?
Place.
Because the moment I guess you go and see Edna's diner, she's gone.
I'm sorry. I just can't stand it anymore.
I wish there was something I could do.
There he is.
Yeah, you see what I mean? Like...
You wouldn't be taking advantage of me, Steve. I need to be close to someone right
Again,
now.
as well, there's this.
I'm so
like, if
lonely.
you ever...
I know. But I can't.
I guess
You
I
always
understand.
were a kidder, Steve.
But I can't say I like it.
You always were a kidder.
I heard that DNA's diner burned down.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Did you torch it, Steve?
No.
This had the stamp of another Lodge initiation stunt.
Maybe so, but I had nothing to do with it.
Thank God for that.
That is true.
Sharon
Yeah,
said
no,
no.
it's a disc
And
one
Karen.
thing.
Can you imagine? Killing your own daughter? The despair she must have been feeling to do something like that? She must have felt there was no way to carry on after the fire.
Accidents happen.
It was no accident. The sheriff supposedly found evidence that the fire was set. Are you sure you didn't...
Would I lie to you?
No. I'm sure you wouldn't.
Oh! Having that come up, yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say about the game, so...
Come back and visit me soon, okay?
Okay, well, I'll just stand in this room for a while. Where you hear shower noises. We did it, boys. That's all, Harvester. It's a great game. Give it a go. And yeah. But yeah, no, I'll just finish up with the retro achievement stuff. Yeah, I don't know where I specifically stand on the Guy game, but the Guy game's not in the discussion. Like, it was banned already, and that's, you know, like, I don't have any huge case to say, hey, you know, it needs a set or it needs whatever like that. And also on top of that, it's one of Twitch's banned games. So I'm not too sure how much I can exactly describe the game that I haven't played. I would just say, if you don't know the game, look it up and you'll go, oh. And it's kind of unfortunate because I don't even think the company themselves actually, like, I think there was a lawsuit and they actually won it because technically it was the actress at fault for lying about her age through multiple means. Like, it is her fault, but it's an unfortunate byproduct that it also means this game does have someone who is under the legal age performing acts that invoke the feelings of something that probably shouldn't be happening at her age. So that's why it's banned. But yeah, 177 is quite a gutsy game. I don't have a lot of thoughts about it other than, yeah, it was pulled from Japan. It was made illegal. Oh, they remade and okay. As a non-interactive... Oh, how odd. But hey, you know, I guess if you pulled the game, you got to make money off it somehow, and that is at least a way, so... But the other game pulled from Retro Achievements is Custer's Revenge. Custer's Revenge famously appeared in the AVGN episode about various Atari games that have adult material in them, and it is famously a wild example on paper, but it's also, yeah, it's so crude. It's like, you know, a part of me is, maybe as a younger teen, I probably shouldn't have seen that, like, AVGN. You know, he cusses a lot, he talks about somewhat more mature video games, all that kind of stuff, but they're also all old, and the part of me went, everything NES was crude. Everything at that time span was so crude. The Atari is even cruder. This is a bunch of dots. It's like, just imagine that dot's a naked cowboy. And imagine that dot's a naked Indian. And then it's like, now imagine this cactus doesn't hurt. And yeah, and you get points. Like, it sounds so comical, but it's like, that's what people did. I don't know. It's like games were a two-statement ordeal, and someone went for it. So if murder is illegal, well, yeah, our other crimes. Well, also on top of that, like, okay, I know it's a bit of a hot take to say, is Custer's revenge, is the act of that in the game a crime? Because there is so little context that you really have no idea what is really going on here. I would say in the raw, what is going on screen, I'm like, it's a bunch of dots. I think we can all look at it from a historical thing going, some developer had a funny joke, and they went with it and they produced it into a game. And I think that's kind of it. At the end of the day as well, all of this is fiction. Like, I think there is some merit to depicting grotesque and otherwise, you know, abhorrent things if you have a statement, or even in some ways if you want to shock. If the point of your product is to do that, I think it's not necessarily on archivists to then make a secondary judgment call on, oh, this content is absolutely terrible. I think my one kind of stance is, if the game itself is illegal, then I think there needs to be a case-by-case basis of like, okay, well, is it actually really, really that abhorrent? I'm really on the fence about 177. But someone already had made a set for it, and there's a part of me that goes, well, someone did the hustle. Okay, so probably a famous example that isn't on this list, but I think a lot of people are bringing up, is Hong Kong 97, which also has an AVGN mention. I think 177 did get pulled from Japan at the time. But yeah, Hong Kong 97 is the other one I bring up. Because if you die in Hong Kong 97, you are presented with a digitized sprite, mind you. But Hong Kong 97 has a dead body. Like a real dead body there. And again, is it a crime? No. But is Hong Kong 97 entirely shock factor and entirely like full of abhorrent content? Probably. Probably. And you gotta listen to that music the whole time. Like, I think that's... oh yeah, the Felix the Cat. Yeah, exactly. I think... Yeah. There's so many games out there, and to an extent, so many pieces of media all over the place, where the content is abhorrent, the content is questionable, there's like, okay, this is not for me, or this is something not for me. Some people out there really enjoy the fascination of the macabre. Oh yeah, exactly. Games designed to desensitize you. Harvester, Hong Kong 97. To some extent, you know, like 177 maybe has the intention of actually normalizing an act that is indeed criminal. Okay, there is an angle of that. I think there's certain games out there that, while, you know, they're not on the list for RetroAchievement support because they're not on an old console, I think we will clearly go, hi, yes, what is the intention of this game? Oh, okay. There's one released in 2002 by the name of Ethnic Cleansing. And I'm like, yeah, no, like, you know what I mean? Even if it's in jest, I guess I'd need to, like, understand more if it really, really, really is in jest. Because there's, yeah, that one's a... Oh boy, it's I'm also not too sure if that's on Twitch's banned list. It might be, but like, there's that. Hilariously as well, like in the realms of yeah, we don't support Windows, so it's not gonna happen on RetroAchievements for a while. But I think the principle is, I think we should come up with the examples of like what is acceptable and what's not. And I would prefer for a sense of a standardized sense to be there. Because right now, I think there was like a couple of just immediately off the bat called out games. So the Guy game, what was another one as well? Let me actually find this list. I'll see if I can find the list. Find the blog post. Well, I found the original one about the code of conduct scope, which was the one saying that. Here we go. Clarifying the goals from the owner. Oh, yeah, the other two were Lolita Syndrome and My Lolita on PC-88. Yeah, which I don't know anything about that, so I'll just sort of leave it there. The only other game that was removed as well was another ROM hack, Pokemon Periwinkle, which I think is by the same person who did Clover. It is relatively much tamer in its content, and also it's a bit less, amazing, I guess. But it's also one where, why was it taken down? And I think this one's one by association. But this is the list of games. If we can come up with many other games that seem quite questionable, I think one that classically got brought up was Princess Maker, which just had a set release as well. And Princess Maker is a game where you can... How would I put it? You raise a child into a wonderful... You make her a queen. We'll say that. And to be fair, it's only one ending that's particularly a bit sensitive in that realm, but it's also one where I don't, there is no outrage with this, and honestly, the only reason why people bring it up is because people are doing whataboutism. I think people need to be very clear that any kind of, controversy or conflict everyone has over this, I really hope no one is asking for more games to be removed from the site. What people are bringing up with these examples is, where is the line? Why were these games fine, but not these other ones? And to some extent, maybe the existing banned ones, we could, historically just say, let's not argue about those. But the 4 that were removed, yes, banning all Harry Potter games got brought up. I have no idea if that one was a tongue-in-cheek post. That person who posted that got banned immediately, and you would never see any formal follow-up from that one. So I don't think you'd really pull anything, extrapolate too much. I don't think there's any intention to ban Harry Potter. And honestly, in my opinion, I don't think there's actually any intention to ban anything else now. But again, it's like the principle is, why were these banned? Because Pokemon Clover in particular seems like it was banned purely because of the movement, the hate mob, I guess. It had been requested on the site by tons of people. 177, honestly, I learned about during this. So that's why I don't think there was a huge outrage mob. I legitimately didn't know this existed. And it's a PC-88 set. I don't know, it doesn't get too much traction. But Pokemon Clover, up until it got removed from the site, did have, one of the largest set request counts on the site. People did really want to play it. Pokemon Periwinkle already existed. Not too sure if it had as much attention. But it seems like a bit of a scattershot of games removed. It all stemmed from Pokemon Clover. No one exactly asked for... Oh yeah, and the dev worked on the set for months. So yeah, so this is where I go into the literal. The people who work on RetroAchievements are all volunteers. It's a site driven entirely by volunteers and community support. People understanding consoles, people creating emulators, that's already the community support right there. People archiving and hashing and listing every detail they can about every game in the world. Like, literally, ROM hacks, unlicensed prototypes, demos, all this stuff can exist on RetroAchievements to some extent. Can be listed on RetroAchievements. I want to be clear as well. Everything on RetroAchievements is describing a game that exists, because RetroAchievements doesn't host anything beyond patches if necessary, which for most ROM hacks is always patches are always shared around all over the place. But it's a site where people contribute on that kind of stuff. And if someone is, especially for a while, investigating the joys, or sorry, investigating how the memory works and how to create challenge mechanisms underneath for a game such that you can track progression, track challenges, track all that stuff, and then sort of, I always keep saying, Retro Achievements is kind of like a book club. It's like you can unite people by, you know, kind of going, hey, you know, you played this game and so did these other people. You can talk about it, or you can, you know, share your accolades or encourage other people to play that kind of stuff. I like it from that realm. I think certainly the kind of try-hard, incredibly difficult challenge achievements, it's not for me. It's for some people. I don't think people should treat the site like everyone is that, and I don't think those people should treat the site like everyone is also that as well. But I think there is a place for people who do enjoy their challenges like that, and I really hope that maybe there's a bit more accommodation for very different styles of play as well in the future, because there's always a sort of problem I have where it's like the set developer is the one who decides how difficult the set is. Man, my nose is blocking up. The set developer decides what challenges go in the set, and I think that their hustle deserves a bit of respect. They're understanding the game and they're setting the challenges themselves. But yeah, no, I completely get that. Like, some people, it filters. I get that. So, but that's besides the point. The whole site is filled with these contributors, and so to have the contributions be pulled is one thing. To have the contributions be pulled because of the owner single-handedly is another thing, and then to be pulled despite the community itself not wanting that is number 3. And I think that is a recipe for people getting very angry and riled. Now, before, no pitchforks. I don't want there to be pitchforks, because I do hope that there are, and I trust that there are indeed conversations with especially the high-up people, because various high-up people did get burned by this. Various high-up people also got doxxed and harassed by people on Blue Sky. Randy Pitchfork, yeah. That, like, I completely get that. Not to say that doxing and harassment is, like, you know, it shouldn't justify anything. As in, if you are getting doxed and harassed, it shouldn't justify an irrational decision. It should explain why someone is acting more irrationally than usual. But sometimes people are irrational anyways, and sometimes people do not do an irrational decision despite being doxed and harassed. But I think that knowing that people have been put under more pressure should hopefully highlight that maybe there have been decisions that aren't, you know, they're not the way going forward. They're not how things should be done. The sort of threats are not just like personal information being released. I think there's also threats about how you know, emulator support would be pulled, or associations with other sites, and potentially some people also are going, oh, you know, I'll start kind of mass reporting this site to authorities. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, at the end of the day, there is a incredibly small and incredibly vocal crowd on Blue Sky who does not like Pokemon Clover. In particular. It's really just Pokemon Clover. And I completely get why people do not like 4chan culture. It is not everyone's cup of tea. But it is some people's cups of tea. And it's also... It's not just like a cookie-cutter ROM hack. They actually put an effort into it. I think I had the same kind of opinion about Snoot Game, when they made a clone of Goodbye Volcano High based on the trailer, and they managed to complete it in the 3 years before the game actually came out, so for copyright reasons they actually could get away with that a little bit. But Snoot Game, while it has some edge, and it certainly has some quite... You know, it's got an ending that I'd say, hey, you know, I could see someone getting controversial about it. But it's also one where it's like, they put an effort, and they wrote characters, and they're somewhat sympathetic about things, and I think people shouldn't judge a book by its cover. People should at least go, hey, someone made a piece of art, and if you really don't like it, you can ignore it, because it's not like the world's gonna burn with this thing out there. It's not like people are going crazy suddenly. You know, I mentioned I'm playing Harvester now, you know what I mean? But like, It's not like the existence of Harvester literally makes murderers out of nowhere. It's like, this game exists for a point. This game exists because the creators wanted to create a statement like that. Yeah, certain games existing is actively damaging the world. It's like, you know, it's a puritanical grab. It's certainly like, or you know, if it is for the hate speech reason, yeah, it's a no tolerance for intolerance, which is a phrase. I'm not too sure if that was used explicitly in the Blue Sky posts. But yeah, the one curious thing is that, yeah, the founder of RetroAchievements explicitly replied to threads on Blue Sky, and also particularly on one person who is known in other circles. They had a long blog post. Literally, one of their things they said is, if I was a moderator on RetroAchievements, this is what I would do. And it's like, you haven't even unlocked an achievement on the site. What do you mean? You never posted a blog post on the site until now. That seems absurd that, like, this is what I mean by the irrational decisions. Like, not everyone is going to look up people for all the stuff. But, like, someone is going to find that was a point. And not to say your opinions are invalid because you don't use the site. But your opinions are wrong and you don't use the site. It's like, the reason why it's so out of touch, and especially according to many community members, is because it's done entirely by someone who just literally has no, you know, written track record. And for a site that tracks a lot of stuff, like logins, like, you know, like forum posts, literally any game you boot up on an emulator, if it's tracked by the site and you literally have your credentials there, it will show up. And you could be passively getting achievements. And you have 2 games that came up. You didn't get achievements in any of them. So I don't want to brigade this person. Actually, sorry, I take it back. They've earned achievements today. Ambulance chasing for the digital. Yeah. This person has begun... was it this person, actually? No, maybe it wasn't this person. No, I'm looking at the wrong person. Yeah, I'm like, no way did this person gain 27,000 points in one day. And the chart also confirms that, so I'm definitely looking at the wrong person here. But yeah, it's ambulance chasing. Yeah, like, what is the reason for wanting stuff removed from the site? I think part of it is maybe an attitude of inclusion. It comes with the ideology, and I don't want to like single out the, you know, any characteristics of the person or particularly make a whole point against like identity kinds of stuff, because it's a whole rabbit hole to go down. And it's a complex issue, and there's lots of exceptions, and it's not fun to like try to boil that down into some raw opinions. I think the real problem is this idea that everything has to be made for everyone, and not, you know, I think like on a literal term, I think everyone can agree, yeah, no, like not everything is made for everyone, but some people take it really far and they actually go, this thing has humor that I do not like, and usually they don't refer to it as humor. They'll usually just say it's like edginess or controversy or something like that. But it's like, no, these people put it... The reason why Terry Davis and Chris Chan exist in the Pokemon Clover is because people find it funny to depict these characters, to depict these people who do really exist, or did really exist in Terry's case. But like, you know, quotes from them, memes from them, like that kind of stuff. It's like, that's their humor. And obviously it's not for everyone, in the same way that there's probably humor that these people have that other people don't find funny. It's perfectly fine for people to not find everything, you know, funny in the world. But I think maybe me trying to read the tea leaves here is that the something deep-rooted in, like, their tenets that go, if I don't find this humorous, or something like that, then it must be controversial, and therefore it is intended to exclude me, or something like that. And therefore, as exclusionary, it must be hateful, harmful, demeaning, like that kind of stuff. And it's like, it's a Pokemon ROM hack. Like, what are the... Also, it's a Pokemon ROM hack that's been out for 5 years. I just want to add that. Like, you would have to compare the world before 2020 if you want to specifically draw the line with this one ROM hack. But, like, What is the world? Did anything happen? No. I think it's the existence of this ROM hack, which it's still the existence. Yeah, true. You can message me about it. We can have more chats about it later. But that's my like 2 cents on that one. I think there's a couple of other angles you can play. For example, did you know, and this one again, don't target the one person, but there is a certain person in the Blue Sky threads, the various threads, they've tweeted about, or Blue Sky posted about this, and they themselves have made multiple, at least 2 Pokemon ROM hacks, one of which has a Retro Achievements set. Just want to add that as a very, very, very curious coincidence. It's a lot of, you really got to infer motives out of this one, but one can easily infer the whole, I want to remove competition from my ROM hack, or I'm jealous that this ROM hack has way more traffic than mine. I don't know this person. I do not know if that's really what they're thinking. But again, it's like, we can come up with many reasons why some people will just come up with stuff. And at the end of the day, a lot of the stuff that's being said on Blue Sky is a lie, is exaggerated beyond belief, is coming up with legitimate, like, harm that actually doesn't exist. Oh, sorry, it's like coming up with, like, these are the consequences of this. You mentioned Harry Potter before. I'm like, you know, this is another politics hot take for me, but I'm like, it's the exact same thing. It's like, she wrote the books, like, freaking 20-something years ago. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what anyone does with the media franchise. Her opinions are her opinions. She's just... J.K. Rowling's just made $1 bajillion and is just saying the stuff that she believes. If you want to, like, not, you know, empower her, just don't respond, bro. Just don't care. There's people who say, like, crazy things all the time. It was, like, a weird... I remember, when I was younger, we have an entrepreneur called Dick Smith. He owned a electronics store called Dick Smith Electronics. They liquidated, so they got bought out by Kogan, if you've ever heard of Kogan. Maybe these are all Australian brands. But Dick Smith, in, like, the late 2000s, went on a very, like, decent political campaign. Like, I don't think he, like, full-timed it, but he went on a lot of news shows and started talking about the dangers of, like, overpopulation and stuff. And I remember, like, researching that in school and stuff like that. And I'm like, even at the time, I was like, I think the only reason why we're, like, reading into this is because he's Dick Smith. It's because he's, like, a person who's there. But, agree with him or not, like, the only reason why, like, people are responding to him is because, like, he's spitting ideas. He's, you know, he's not very, like, antagonistic about it. I don't remember it being particularly a controversial thing, maybe unless you're very... you know, big population, and you think small population Australia is not the way to go, and so you're like, oh, you know, I want to shut down that like that. But the whole point is that, like, I don't know, I think a lot of people are just going to hear what celebrities say, and whether they say things that you agree with or not, it's like, it's just them. Everyone can have an opinion, you know? Like, what's the one phrase? It's like, opinions are like assholes, everyone's got one. It's like... you know, it's like, I wouldn't read too much into someone having a thing. Certainly, I guess if you think that she's legitimately, like, causing harm against other people, I think it's worth investigating and understanding that, but I don't know, the evidence against her seems quite weak. And also, I also feel like her views have gotten stronger because people keep reacting so strongly. And obviously, as well, opinions are opinions. And I don't think opinions should be met with anything else other than more opinions. Any action, any, like, you know, threats, Strides had effect, which, if anything as well, isn't that something that's happened with the Retro Achievement stuff? It's like, I've looked up multiple games that I probably wouldn't have thought of and went, oh, that's a bit, you know, that's a bit controversial. For me personally, the reason why I care probably a lot about this is, one, I've sort of monetarily funded Retro Achievements a little bit, so I would really like to see the site be its best, and I don't think this, you know, this sows division. this whole thing has sown division. I want people to be like, hey, you know, everyone can use the site. I don't care. I really don't care that, like, if you don't want to play Pokemon Clover. The site's not about having to play Pokemon Clover. I completely get if, you know, Cycle of Violence spins... Oh, exactly, because, yeah, unfortunately, you know, it can go both ways. People can respond to this, and you know, I've seen responses like this. There's a lot of banning right now, but in spin-off channels and stuff like that, talks about RetroAchievements. Hilariously, I think the worst I've seen is actually like spin-off Discords. There's I don't know, people find it taboo to mention Kiwi Farms or that kind of stuff, but Kiwi Farms has been relatively quite level-headed about this. They've mostly been copy-pasting things. They've got their strong takes on certain cultures, but there's people on there who are legitimately saddened. There's like someone who was like, yeah, like I tried working on, like I was inspired by the standalone, well not me, but like someone there said I was inspired by the standalone Final Fantasy XI and actually started work on a standalone Morrowind mod. And it's obviously a lot of effort, but he was like, yeah, no, this sealed the deal. I was like, I can't trust that my stuff's going to stay there. And I sat there going, yeah, like, yeah, which is why I not only want this to be clarified, I sort of do want this to be reversed. A personal take. I don't think it should be a harmful, you know, like, you can't say that on the Discord right now, which is it's a very hot take. This is my stream, you know, free Clover, maybe. People reacting with salute emojis and four-leaf Clover emojis everywhere. Legit, anytime anyone's going to see a four-leaf Clover on the site, I swear someone's going to go, oh, did you mean this thing? But yeah, to me, I deeply worry about this because I am also a set developer. I don't make a ton of sets. I'm a bit slow on this one. I've still got Brain Age, a bit over 2 weeks left. They were banned for a hot moment. I don't think they're banned now. There was a brief slow mode on the general chat as well, although to be fair, like, it's a public Discord, and every public Discord is going to attract a lot of... I think someone on Kiwi Farms actually mentioned this, is like, there are a lot of young people on RetroAchievements. There's a lot of people who are just like, they just say stuff. It's really, like, not a deeply formed opinion, and you can just have a lot of, like, spam and stuff like that. And... To some extent, yeah, you know, like, general chats are sometimes a bit overkill. Honestly, forums are weirdly a very easy filter for this kind of stuff as well. Because there's something weird about the attention span on a slower posted forum than it is in just a big general chat. But who knows? But yeah, no, I develop sets for the site, and you know, especially as well, I keep saying, here is this game! Here is Harvester, which is literally a game that has an ending, which ultimately, I guess, rewards the player for becoming a serial killer. It's clearly making a statement about it. It's also tongue-in-cheek, but, you know, like, where do we draw the line? What is the line? That's the question here. The other game I also sort of mentioned, maybe it's a slippery slope argument, the other one I always mention is Phantasmagoria, which could have a set. Today, it doesn't, but, like, it has a Saturn port. It exists. And it has a literal assault scene that happens to the main character. And is there anyone riled up about this? At the time, yes. But no one on RetroAchievements does. And so, like, part of me wonders, like, you know, is there a hypocrisy angle? Obviously, so many people are, like, dead set on Pokemon Clover and not on hateful content in general. But ultimately, I think, and here's another one, maybe the advertising, you know, the ads on this video are going to be wild. They're like, man, what kind of topics are you talking about, man? Do we want to associate with that? I don't know, I'm just spitballing off the top of my head. But, in the person's blog post, they mentioned, actually, it could have been on a Blue Sky tweet. No, I think it was in a comment. They were like, we don't want RetroAchievements to become, like, a Nazi bar. And that's the quote they used. And the owner of RetroAchievements, or the founder, rather, that's the official title, it said, "You're right about the Nazi bar stuff." So I'm like, okay. So the Nazi bar statement is basically like, it's this theory that like, if you allow Nazis to enter your bar is now a Nazi bar, and people don't want to be associated with a Nazi bar. I think there's so many, like, elements of wrongness in this statement, and it is quite a... Yeah, well, exactly. And I as well, I don't think there's anything wrong with the devs, or really anyone, adding disclaimers onto games that have questionable material. The closest we get is that we have to post box arts, which usually have an ESRB rating if they're newer, but, you know, there's older games out there. Obviously, the ones that are banned don't have, you know, like, they're either unlicensed or they don't have, you know, they're too old for the ESRB, or they're released in Japan, which also didn't have a ratings board until after that. But, yeah, it's like, I wouldn't mind if it's like, hey, this is Phantasmagoria. It has, like, you know, full motion video simulated gore. It has, you know, assault. It's got, like, that kind of stuff. It has spooks. That kind of stuff. You know, it will well, not legitimate. It depends on who you are. But, like, it is a game that tries to scare you. I think that there's, you know, a lot of grounds for things that people will go, oh, yeah, no, like, do I want to be playing a game that has that kind of stuff? There's a mature hub on the site, but the mature hub only can go so far. You can't tell someone that a game is, you know, it's got all this kind of content. I think the best you can get is, I was going to say, I was like, I just checked out Vice City, and Vice City doesn't even have the mature hub. And I'm like, Vice City ticks a lot of boxes, but people give GTA a free pass. Not a free pass. People give GTA more of a pass now because it's historically been the target so much that it's like, yeah, no, this is a game that people play. It really doesn't inspire crazy people in the world, and it exists as it is. It's maybe a bit too risque for I don't know, actually, I've sort of considered it on stream at some point, but I think it's also, there's a lot of stuff to try and figure out with that one, so copywritten music is probably the most controversial part to playing any GTA game on stream, other than GTA 3, because it doesn't have any. That's always a fun one. But yeah, it's like, you know, could the site have better stuff for dealing with people who don't want to see certain things on the site? Sure. Is it an utmost important feature? I wouldn't mind the content ratings, because again, as I said, there's a lot of kids, maybe not like super young kids, but teenagers on the site who are just like, yeah, like, if we are going to classify everything on the site, I think it's fair to provide a system to make sure people don't accidentally keep stumbling into the real terrible stuff, like the real, like, hey, this game was banned because it literally depicts this, like, terrible thing. It might be old, but at some point, you know, as the games get newer, especially by the time you hit, you know, games that have proper live action, it's like, well, you know, the only thing clunky about it is perhaps the resolution. It's not really the, like, the quality of the material at that point. Stuff could be, you know, legitimately terrifying, traumatizing, somewhat, you know, inappropriate for people of a certain age. I think the site could do stuff to indicate that, certainly. And especially given that it's got, you know, screenshots and sort of soft encouragements to play certain games through Achievement of the Week and things like that. But, hey, you know, like, that's something that could be done. There's a discussion on sort of, I guess, allowing people to hide certain games and having games hidden by default. I'm on the fence. I don't mind the feature, although I'm on the fence about whether it's meaningful, and I'm really on the fence about games being default hidden, because it's like, why would anyone develop a set for a game that's hidden? You know what I mean? This is like, you're, you know, ultimately, one thing that a lot of people who are set devs get out of this is that they get that pride in, you know, the pride in accomplishment. But people like the feedback. People like seeing people do the achievements, and they get the feedback there, and they go, oh, you know, I could make sets harder like this, or something like that, or I appreciate, you know, you enjoyed going through this game in this interesting way. So having games hidden is kind of like, oh, I'm on the fence about that. But again, personal take, and I'm not, you know, I haven't thought about it too much, so who knows. But yeah, the Nazi bar analogy, I'm like, I think it's a bit insidious because one, you know, RetroAchievements isn't a bar, it's a service. You know, it's like it's a website. It's like you'd have to really go out of your way to start banning people. I guess you could say, well, you know, it's the content that you're, you know, banning, I guess, rather than the people. But it's like, okay, but, you know, like, is the content that bad? You've now done like a false assumption there. It's like you've casually pinned, and I say this like real, like, seriously. It's like, I don't know, the phrase, the term Nazi gets used so much, and honestly, like, I mentioned ethnic cleansing. There you go. There's your example right there. I don't think Pokemon Clover has like it goes nowhere near that. You gotta be, I don't know, like I guess you'll never truly know unless you play both, but like I think there's the obvious of like, hey, one of them quotes Terry Davis, and one of them literally provides a reward mechanism for, you know, like that kind of, it's like, there's such a clear, obviously, like, one is much more in that camp, and the other is not even in it. The other's just 4chan humor. Whatever. It's like, whatever. You know, that kind of stuff. So, I don't know. I think that was a hot one. But then also saying that, like, this whole association thing, like, suddenly if you have this thing on the site, it's like, if you have everything on the site, is it an everything site? And I'm like, well, yeah, it should be an everything site. RetroAchievements should really be, like, quite agnostic as to what game should be on the site. I think there's probably, people are definitely going to have the exceptions. You know, I'm not going to argue against the guy who came today. I don't have any opinions on that one. But it's, like, yeah, it's a site that exists because so many games have been released, and it provides a way to sort of provide a bit of a book club exploring all of these games to some degree. If they're games that people obviously should take offense to, then they're going to obviously take offense to them. That's the reason why, like, you know, like, Hong Kong 97 is still kind of there, because Hong Kong 97 is effectively, like, a very, really bizarre piece of history there. Really bizarre. I don't think anyone, like, legitimately thinks the world is a, like, you know, I don't think the world is a better place with the existence of Hong Kong 97, but I also feel like, hey, you know, like, what is there to gain by getting rid of stuff, you know? That's sort of where I go from there, so. Anyways, that's a long ramble, that's a long spiel. I think the people, the TLDR, the people who indeed through threats and doxed, very big shame on them. The people who, you know, are on Blue Sky, it's always Blue, sorry, not always, but, like, it's weird that it's all Blue Sky. I don't know why. I saw, like, one person cross-tweeted on Twitter. That's it. A couple of people on Reddit as well, actually. It does exist on Reddit. But it's not RetroAchievements' own community. It's just various Reddits. Like, who cares? I don't know. Reddit's filled with bots anyways right now. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't like the, you know, the ideological spin. I really hate that, like, the core tenets of what they're operating on here. I don't think it's in good faith. I really don't think that, you know, there's probably a bunch of people with different reasons, but I don't think there's, you know, I don't think there's a great reason to, like, you know, cower to this. If people are doxing you, they got your, well, either they're bluffing, or they have your information anyways, and there's nothing you can particularly do, because appeasing them most likely delays the inevitable, or they do it anyways, and then you do it, and it's like, well, you've done it after they've done the damage. Like, you know, and that's not to say anyone who's reacted irrationally because of threats has, like, no one should be expected to do anything, you know, to do the most perfect thing when they're under pressure like that. I think people are bound to make mistakes. That's kind of the reason why people throw the threats around. It's not necessarily to force the change, although forcing the change is, could happen. But they cause errors, and that's why people do it, because it works, and people shouldn't do it because it's absolutely vile. It's silly. It's like, oh my goodness. So yeah, so anyone in Blue Sky encouraging this or whatever, it's like, it's a rung on the ladder down. You're not like the absolute worst kinds of actors in this thing, but I don't like the behavior, and hopefully they can change their minds, but very hopefully, I hope they either assimilate into the RetroAchievements culture and realize that, hey, they're operating on the worst pretexts. It's late. It's almost midnight. Or they just leave. Not every space has to be your space. You've already got a space as well. And again, appreciate the hustle. Anyone who makes stuff, you should be appreciated for making stuff. It shouldn't be a competition. It shouldn't be about that one person's ROM hack is more popular than another. It should be, like, just, you're making stuff. Me personally, it's like, I don't particularly care too much that no one has played a SingStar regional subset on the site. I would like for someone to play it eventually, but like, I'm not like jealous that every other set has a, it seems petty. The whole drama is petty because the core issue is petty, and that's what makes it dramas in general just kind of like silly. Because at the end of the day, like, what are we doing here? We're arguing over like something that, is a solid political topic, but it's like, what is this for? Like, RetroAchievements is like not at all meant to be a battleground for any of this stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, it shouldn't be a battleground for this. And that's why the fact that the founder like came in to random threads and said stuff, it really confuses me. I don't want to add pressure onto this, and especially, we're sort of calling him out specifically because it kind of is, like the reason why this has enacted this way. It's not bad adminning. It's like, it's literally the guy who founded the site has stuck an executive opinion into this. And there's a lot of internal politics, and that's not, again, no explicit, like, brigading or anything now. No pitchforks for the moment, because it is a developing story. So I think there's more to it. But I really do want to know what was happening there. What was going through his head, and what is going through everyone's heads, really. Like, honestly, yeah, if any other people in Blue Sky are like, hey, like, I just said it for this reason, or something like that, I'd feel a bit more appreciated knowing that. I would still maybe shout them out if they're still going to double down and be wrong on that one, and, somewhat the insidious connections in places, but at the end of the day, it's like, like, what are we doing here? 4chan made a parody set of achievements for clothes. Oh, I haven't checked the parody achievements, so I need to check them out, but I haven't seen anything on 4chan about this, but that's because I don't browse 4chan regularly. I'm only on the Fetty, and that's great segue. We might as well end it there. So I'm only on the Fetty, so you can follow me there, m.biendeo.com, for all the fun things. And yeah, that's kind of it. That's pretty much all I've got. So next stream next week, 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, Monday. It's been fun. No, thank you all for being here, and thanks for sticking around for the extended rant if you've been here. But no, Harvest is great. Play Harvester. And yeah, VOD will be on YouTube soonish. It's technically today because I broke the midnight barrier. Does it count? Does the midnight barrier count if I'm just ranting? It is cool. It is a cool game. Don't you know that violence in video games will rot your brain? So, but yeah. Anyways, yeah. Controversy aside, no brigading, no nothing. Stay tight. Keep safe. Don't worry. I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic that things will fix out for some, will it be the same as it ever was? Maybe not, but it might heal. There could be a healing in the short term as well. So keep your eyes peeled. But yeah, with that, stay safe, eat your greens, don't stay up too late like I did. And yeah, peace.